Y'all are in jail, y'all.
Hey, what's
It's
up?
a it's a real problem being in jail. No one likes being in jail. They're real they're not very neighborly up in here. So
We have neighbors though.
where we
Go
left
ahead.
off last time, not going to do a recap because so little happened last time. And less it's said about it, the better. Where we last left off last time, uh, Alistair had a reprieve on this particular shift. It seems that the guard who was typically stationed to watch this hallway was soon to be transferred or retiring, a little bit unclear, but at any rate was soon to be leaving this prison, this place underneath Fort Ulthus, and had decided to blow off his last shift, giving Don and Alistair an unprecedented opportunity to actually get out of his cell and start exploring a little bit. As they had ventured into the storeroom across the way, Don, using some ink and parchment, managed to sketch out a quick map of what he had explored, what he had been able to see through the various vents running throughout this prison. And so, what Don could see
Yay!
is a little something like this.
Ooh. Ooh, woo, what's this? Alright, let's take a fucking look, boys. Ooh, let me get my notes out. So I remember the kitchen was northeast.
Yeah, well, I'll
Yeah.
point out a few of the particular points of interest that Don would have noticed.
Hmm.
Up here is the kitchen, uh, typically staffed not by guards but by a few sort of standard, just uh, unskilled workers. Uh, you also would have noticed that right towards the center of the prison,
There.
this area, this hallway is long, fairly dark, not very well lit, and right in the center of it is this large grate that does not seem to be attached, but that is just very heavily resting on the ground. And underneath it, Don can sometimes hear the faint sound of water running somewhere below. You also
Oh,
know that over here is the interrogation room with various implements of torture. You have caught sight of wheels, of iron maidens, of racks of small and purpose built knives. There's also the lift that's visible in the center of there. And that seems to be just a level above the kind of main grounds of the prison. There is right over here in this room. Uh, Dawn had caught sight. This somewhat secure storeroom seems to hold more interesting items that have presumably been confiscated. The most notable among them is right in the center, the war suit. That seems to be the one that the not your cellmate, but your hallmate for the small gnome from the cell right next to yours, Alarin Ruff, had made, and that it seemed that he was being interrogated about. You also found that right over here in the lowest level of this prison is the room that is known as the turn screw vault. And this room has a number of ogres that seem to be sort of kept, well, who are prisoners just like the rest, though who seem to serve a more utilitarian purpose. They're sort of kept in check with these large hoods and blinders kept over their heads. And then there is, let's see, right over here on the main prison seems to be where the lift is located. And something that Don has noticed in a separate rule that Julia made uh, in his time observing is actually that the lift seems to, while it's always kind of going from floor to floor, only twice a day does it seem to bring down people from the top from the surface or take them back up. It seems like the guards themselves take 12-hour shifts here, and every 12 hours does this lift actually operate, not only taking the guards up and down, but also bringing in supplies from the surface. Another thing that Don would have noticed, because since there is another sort of path to the surface through these ventilation chambers, though far away from the actual grounds of the of Fort Ulfas itself, kind of more towards the more towards the forest. But Don would have been able to surmise that the place where the lift does finally exit onto the surface is a
Ooh, grass?
there we are. Is this spot kind of on the outskirts of Fort Ulfas itself, a small walled compound that seems to have four guard towers and a small building in the center. Presumably, that is where the lift exits, though you can't have not been able to see any of the features inside of the building. The building is in that shaded part in the center.
Oh, okay. So is the building to the north, like where these doors are, and then is this the south, like of this wall, like total open land, or what?
Yeah, mostly open land. It seems like to the north of this small complex, not too far from there is the forest, and then sort of to the southeast are the main training grounds of Fort Ulfas.
Pog. Okay, that's a lot. All right, I think. Well, okay. So if the lift goes up every 12 hours, we just have the problem of getting onto the lift. So I don't know if we're gonna utilize that. But if we wanted to get some outside help, like from the players and yada yada, like from all you guys, it'd be
Well,
pretty
we'll
easy to get
see.
fucking get in there, right? Because well, then again, there are the guard doors.
And there are guards, but for now, we have Don and Alistair kind of living it up, figuring things out. And Don, I'm sorry, I changed your character token because I was nearing my data limit on here, and then I accidentally deleted uh, your the token that I was using to represent you, and so I had
Oh
to
no,
put on a
it's okay.
different one.
Don is now realistic. He's not the only cartoon character.
With
Um,
our sad day.
sad days. It's okay.
And of course, in the core process of uh, looking throughout the prison, you also see, several more of the prisoners where they're kept, where these cells are.
Oh, is it like these guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, look at. All right. I'm just like
What would this
taking it
place
all in.
appear?
Up where? Oh, up there.
Ooh.
So that place, Don would have noticed, seems to be kind of the lower, not lowest, but lower level of the prison. Uh, what you would have noticed about this place, Don, and what you could describe adequately to Alistair, is that it is a place that is has a far more open floor plan than the rest of the place. You know, it seems like it was made to move swiftly on the condo market. No, that's false. But that there's older stonework here, um, and that this much larger hall, the cells themselves are a lot cruder, are built more like cages, and yeah, the it seems like in general the people on this level the prisoners seem a little bit more broken, perhaps slightly more unhinged. The experience of being kept in this place has affected them slightly more.
Hmm. Maybe they're like the guy on the end where they've been there here a little longer. We're like the fresh bloods, you know?
Probably, but then why isn't he there?
I don't know. Hmm. And I don't know if Tom would be able to tell this, but is this area and this area connected? Like in the same room? Just longer? I don't know if Tom would be able to tell that.
Oh wait, which? Oh
All the way
yeah,
to the left, like
yes.
these two.
Those are all part of the same level, the same kind of large chamber.
Right. So that's where they all are. Hmm. And you said that whenever Don goes over here, he could hear like faint water sounds, right?
Yes,
Down
yes. It
below.
seemed to be coming from below, somewhere below this heavy grate. Like most of the floor in here is stone, but on there, the for a stretch of about 15 feet, there's just this heavy metallic grate that just seems to rest right on top of the stone, and that faint sounds of some kind of running water can be heard somewhere far underneath.
I think Don would tell Alistair, remember that river that the dwarf told us about?
You mean the one that he told you about, that you told me about? Yes.
Yeah, that one. It might be under that grate.
Great.
It is
Can you
great.
can you make me breathe underwater?
No. But, I'm sure there's a way that we could, I don't know, swim? We could get something that's buoyant? We could imagine crashing through that thing and then swimming down the river. Can't be that hard. You can swim, right?
Yes, I can swim.
Mm,
There just becomes the problem of suddenly being a long stretch of underwater where I can't breathe.
then we need something to be able to hold on to. You know, something buoyant. Like a crate. I point at this crate. Or a different crate. Any crate. What is buoyant, right?
It has to be built correctly.
I mean, can't make a boat. Kinda have to work with what we got.
Yeah. So as I said last time, a lot of the things in here are sort of spare kind of clothes for the prisoners. There are a couple of guard uniforms, and there's also some sundries, some like hardtack, a few foodstuffs that have been brought in, and some of those sundries do actually seem to be kept in a couple of food grade barrels in the corner.
Barrels. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
You want to put me in a barrel?
Yeah. You'd survive. Haven't you ever seen those stunts that people do over waterfalls? It's a sport up in Xanaris.
It's a sport?
Yeah. People go in barrels and then they uh flow off of a waterfall, and uh whoever survives with the least injuries wins.
Survives?
Yeah, but you know, we're not gonna be going over a waterfall, I think. We're just gonna be going down a river. What I'm saying are that barrels are buoyant.
I mean, you're technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Hey, am I any other kind of correct? So if we make it there, we could use that. And I mean, looking at the barrel, it's like light, right? Like if I empty it, it's gonna, or if we empty it, it's gonna like obviously be, barrel weight, like a few pounds, maybe 20 at the most. Asking God.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There, we solved the drowning problem. But how we're gonna get there is another problem.
And how is that going to help make the guards think I'm dead is another.
Well, I got an idea. Well, okay, here's the thing. Does Don know that this room and this room are connected?
Um,
Like, is this like a long hallway, or is this somehow stop here for some reason?
make an intelligence check, Don.
I'm gonna
Difficulty of 5.
intelligence.
Yeah, I did say difficulty of 5.
You
So,
did.
yeah, you're
Yes.
able to put together. They seem similar enough in layout. They're almost certainly connected.
Hey, I mean, it's close to us. We could get there pretty easily. The only problem is any kind of guards that'll be around, but it's such a short distance. I think we wouldn't encounter too many, right?
I don't know. You would be the one who would be watching them patrol, not me.
Could Don think back and think to himself, like, if he's been, if they patrol that area a lot? Are
It,
there a lot
it
of guards at a lot of traffic?
it doesn't seem to be an area of active patrol. Guards do, go back and forth down this hallway, but it doesn't seem to be as nearly as heavily patrolled as the areas where there are actually a lot of cells. It seems like there's not a lot going on in this hallway.
That's the thing. I think that hallway, they don't really patrol it. It's more just, it's a middle hallway for them to get back and forth. You know what I mean? So we won't have too much trouble getting there.
You hear from a distance outside of the open door to the storeroom.
Excuse me. Am I hallucinating, both of you, or are you outside of your cell?
It depends. If I was outside of my cell, what would you do, or what would you say to the guards?
I look, man. I, I don't know, but it sounds like you're talking about trying to get out, and I don't want to stay here any longer. I mean, if you're gonna get out, I'm not gonna tell anybody. I could help you.
Wanna come?
Yeah.
You can come.
Mm,
What are you in about? Look, you could fit in that crate. It's not a barrel, but it's kind of like a barrel, right? And look, there's so many barrels over there. And he points to this area. He's small.
Well, look, you know, I think that they're keeping my war suit somewhere in this place. And when I'm in that war suit, I'm real strong. I'm real strong. And I could punch guards for you, or I could lift up heavy things if you can just, get me to my suit.
Hmm. And I think Don would put together that this is connected. But would Don be able to put together? No, this is a. Ooh, there's a hallway right here, isn't there? Can Don think real hard with his little fairy brain if there's like a connection between this and this that's easy? Other than
Um,
obviously the vent.
it seems like it does seem like the architecture is a bit different in the storeroom. You know that the doorway to that storeroom is to the south. I mean, it doesn't seem like they don't connect. They're definitely on the same floor, but it seems like you might need to go down a couple of hallways to get there.
Mm, Here's the problem. I think I saw your suit earlier, and it's not as easy of a path as, you know, the Great. If we want to get to your suit, we're gonna have to get through a lot of guards.
Oh, oh.
Dumb question.
Well,
Is the gnome small enough to fit in the vents?
He's he looks like he's been down here a while. He's pretty skinny. He would have a very, very hard time of it. But possibly.
Mm,
Possibly.
he says, Is there any way to, I don't know, to distract the guards to get them to get out of there? Uh,
Hmm.
There might be if there was some trouble in other parts of the. Mm,
Oh,
For example, hey Don, that
yeah.
kitchen does it have sinks?
Yeah, it's got sinks.
How many?
How many?
Uh, we'll say one sink.
Just one. What?
Or I don't know. There are two pots there that you could say are filled with murky water. We'll call it two sinks.
There's a sink, and there's one that I think is a sink. Why?
Well, if there were to be a flood in the kitchen, for example,
I see what you're getting at.
normally I would say we would just ring one of the bells in the other sections of the prison, but well, that would require us to be in one of the other sections of the prison. I'm damn sure not ringing the bell to bring them here.
Yeah. You know, that could work. Would it bring all the god? Because here's the thing. I think would Don be able to put together that uh this and this are connected? No, that's a wall, isn't it? Because what does this lead to? Would Don know? These stairs.
Uh, those stairs, I'd say that Dawn would see enough to know that those stairs are like actually very shallow. They don't go like down or up an entire floor. They seem to more like, go descend just a few feet. It seems like the hallway itself is maybe slightly elevated, as if, it's maybe built over something, but that it doesn't actually lead to a different level. It's just kind of has those stairs to make a gradual incline.
Right. So, maybe. Oh, maybe this isn't so hard because maybe this leads down to another hallway. Down and then goes right.
Don, make another intelligence check.
Intelligence.
oh
Come
boy.
on!
You think to yourself, man, I wish I were more intelligent.
Ugh, I wish. Alright. Don, yeah.
Ugh, why couldn't I have gotten stuck down here with Peyton
Yeah, he would have blown us out by now.
if he were alive?
Yeah, the gnome kind of pipes up again, Alarin Ruff.
Well, I don't know if you make a distraction. I mean, it's gotta be something big. It's gotta be something big enough that it'll take a whole bunch of them to deal with it.
I know. What if? Alright, hear me out here. Remember the dragon from earlier?
Yes.
What if me and him cause a distraction up on the surface or something?
Aren't we going to be trying to leave through the surface? We can't take the machine into the water.
No, we're because here's the thing. There's the grate, right? The grate leads to the river down below, but the lift leads to the surface, and the surface is like just outside of their whole their whole prison. So what if me and Dragon Buddy went up to the surface, cause a little havoc while you guys escape down below. I'll cast invisibility so I won't get, killed.
Alistair kind of looks at Don, looks at the gnome, looks over to the other cell next to the gnome that's not his. Wait a minute.
You're
said-
looking towards Verona's cell?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You said her name was Verona, right?
Yeah.
Alistair kind of takes a few steps closer. Verona Yomo, the sabotage expert.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yobo's her last name. Oh, never mind.
Yes, that is I. What can I do for you, Alistair, correct?
Wait, you don't know me?
I I know you. I know that you are here. I know that you are in the cell 2 down from me. I don't make much business to fraternize with the other prisoners. You can tell they don't exactly encourage fraternization here. I am somehow unsurprised to see you walking outside of your cell.
No. I mean, back when we were both still in the Undernights, we unknowingly, well, didn't work together, but do you remember that guild, I can't remember the name of it. They were challenging one of the bigger guilds, and the bigger guild was not so much of a fan, so the king kind of had the Undernights working on that other guild. You went and you sabotaged their stuff in their main building.
Oh, yes, yes, I do remember that. That is uh, a long time ago.
You remember how their head of security was killed that same night in the same building, right?
I do remember hearing something to that effect.
That was me. I I killed him. I was there.
Hmm. Well, congratulations to you then.
How did I know that it was you who broke in? But you never knew I was the one who killed him.
I did not say that I did not know. Perhaps it just was not of enough importance for me to make note of it.
Why are you down here anyway?
Whoa. Well, a little this, a little that. You know how these things are. They're so quick to discard that which is inconvenient for them.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that does not get you put down here. You know that just as well as I do.
I do indeed.
So I know that she's hiding something, but how big is the something she's hiding? Can I insight that?
Sure, sure. Roll an insight check.
Ooh.
Uh, you get the sense that that she is hiding something major that she, uh, has good reason to not want to be forthcoming about what got her in here.
You know something. Something that they don't want getting out. What?
This is true. I know things that they do not want getting out. I know, well, you understand better than anyone, Alistair, how much information one tends to accumulate in this line of work. Perhaps in my position, somewhat more so than yours, but uh, I'd say I'd prefer to keep it close for right now, though it seems that you and your strange fairy friend are talking of escaping.
Well, yes. I overheard your conversation with him. You had said that you knew that there was only one way out of here.
As far as I knew, it was only the lift, though it sounds that you have another scheme in mind.
Yes. I'd let you in, but well, obviously you see information as something very, very worthwhile.
Are you saying that you will only let me assist in your caper if I tell you exactly why I am down here?
Well, your assistance would most likely lead to your freedom.
It would, this is true.
Come on, we won't tell anyone.
The truth is, I had an incident of violence. Well, I turned on the other under nights. It was not pretty. You understand, I pride myself very highly on my skills.
Yes, but what happened?
Well, it is, as you might imagine, I turned on them. I was quite successful, and I was soon caught by forces with more than physical prowess on their side.
Magic. Wonderful. Just what I needed. But why did you turn on them?
Hmm, is probably not that much different than why you are down here, Alistair. I discovered some things that were unsavory that altered my view of our mission, and, well, I felt that I had to act on that.
Well, you've been down here longer than any of us. Well, between me and the gnome, anyway. Can you tell us anything more about the area around that grate? I know you must have felt it underneath yourself being dragged away as much as you are.
She kind of furrows her brows for a second, and she says, I believe that that hallway is the longest single passage in this place. If I had to guess, I would say that it is well over 100 feet long. So if you can secure it on either side, I believe that there is a sharp bend on either side. You can secure it from there, keep guards from coming in. Well, then, you'll have a wide buffer in which to work. I know that the hall has. It is straight, but it seems, at least under the hood, to be much darker when we pass through there. Maybe adequate spots to hide.
Dark is good. Hiding's good.
Especially for you, Don, given you can get around this place fairly easily. You could
Yeah.
scout it out.
Yeah, why don't I? How long we got till that guy's coming back?
Um, at this point, probably about another hour, hour and a half.
Let me try to go over there. Here, I'll be right back. And then Don wants to quickly uh kind of run over here, and yep, he's gonna fly up to the vent and run over here. And
Okay.
is there any? There's no guard, right?
Uh, he kind of peeks out through that vent. He doesn't see a guard in the immediate vicinity.
He would like to hop down and then
All
just
right.
peek around. Just look over there. Just peek.
All right. Make a perception check, Don.
Perception. Yeah.
All right, you peek and you can tell in the immediate vicinity where this hallway continues that there is no guard here. Though, as you look deep, deep into the shadows, you can see that somewhere over here, beyond the point where the grate is, you think you vaguely see the shadow of a guard wielding a halberd, kind of stumping in the opposite direction, sort of away from where you are.
Hmm. I'm just gonna like watch a little longer and just see if he like comes back. Like I want to see if he's like doing a pacing or if he's just walking away.
All right. So you watch until he kind of goes out of view, seems to turn a corner to the right. You wait. Then, about a minute later, you think you see the silhouette kind of return once more. And it's difficult to see all the way down the hallway, especially since the hallway is dim. But you kind of pull your head back in as you see the silhouette all the way down the hall.
Dang it. All right. Don's gonna jump back into the vent
All
and
right.
fly all the way back. And then he runs over and he says, "All right. Oh yeah, I assume he's in. All right. So there is a one god patrolling that area,
The,
and
the hallway itself, or the cells past it?
the cell's past it. No, it's just the hallway. Like, I saw him way down there, and he's kind of doing a pacing thing, you know?
Well, if we could distract him somehow, maybe he wouldn't have to keep this post. I mean, it's just a long haul, right? Then it's probably not the most important place.
Ooh, I know. How when it comes to this hallway, is it like pretty connected to this area? The break room?
Um, it seems like it probably, eventually joins up with that.
Mm, so would Dawn kind of reasonably deduct that if something crazy were to happen here, this guard would be alerted and run over to help?
It's definitely a possibility, yeah.
All right. Well, I've been cooking up a bit of an idea. What if we did something to the food in the break room? And then, when, the guards are bent over getting all sick and stuff, that guard in the hallway will run on over to help out.
Are they really going to care about that, though? About just getting food sick? I thought you said something about a dragon. Oh man, if we could create a dragon. Sometimes I imagine dragons. Maybe it's just a hallucination. Wow. Sometimes I wish that my hallucinations were real. But most of the time I don't. But sometimes.
Some of them can be real. Because you know what? Yeah, if the dragon attack happens upstairs, then yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll take him away from the post. You want to do that? I think we should do it soon, because I mean, look. And I just like point around and I just say, if we act real soon, then, well, the guards not here, you know? But here's the thing. I don't know. Well, would Don know like specifically the times that the uh great like the thing moves? The lift.
Uh, the lift? Yes, he'd put together when it moves. I'd also say that it's sort of moving all the time, but only twice a day does it move all the way to the surface, which would be
Right.
that place that's like in that sort of four walls guard post place.
And what time does that happen?
That happens at two times a day, exactly 12 hours apart, that I never defined. So let's just say that they're whenever it's most convenient.
Nice. Okay. So let's say 12 p.m. We're gonna say 12. So, okay, listen. At 12 p.m., that thing goes up and down, and at 12 a.m., that thing goes up and down. So, I think the best time to uh to set this whole thing up would be, well, when the thing starts to go up, me and Dragon Buddy can prepare to jump him. And at that time, you guys will eventually see your god run away, be told to come help with something upstairs, and you could go. You got your lockpicks, right?
Yeah, right.
Verona pipes up. And I believe I heard you say, Alistair, that you wish them to think that you somehow perish in the attempt.
Yes.
You know, I have learned a few tricks. I could help you with that if you agree to bring me on into your little caper.
Help me in what way?
As I said, I have learned a few tricks. I know a few things about this place that others do not.
Like what?
Well,
I,
if I tell you all of that, what incentive will you have to bring me along?
truth be told, I've already decided to bring you along, but continue.
Yeah, you're all.
Well, uh, I would prefer to not actually be here when they think I'm dead. I don't want to be pretending to be a dead body.
Hmm. What if I told you, Alistair, that you would only need to pretend to be dead for 1 second, and you would never be examined?
Beggars can't be choosers.
Fair enough.
Very well. So, small fairy.
Yeah.
It looks like she's expecting you to correct her to anything else but small fairy, but when you don't, she
Oh,
says,
oh,
well, small fairy, does this seem to be the plan that you are proposing?
I'd say so. Also, the name's Don. Don
Dawn.
Balchinier.
Dawn. Okay, that is very good. So you will make a distraction with this dragon, and then Alistar and Alirin and myself will escape to freedom through this grate.
Yes. And here's the thing. Here I have presents for you guys. And wait. Oh wait. Did Don get the daggers yet?
Um,
Can I use? Oh,
I'll let you use 1 point of foresight to say that at some point Dawn managed to secret those in the little crook of the vent, because you
hell
did
yeah.
mention that to me, but you never like made it clear that you did. So I'll say 1 point of foresight.
Yeah. Okay. So
That,
I got like 1% left, but here we go, boys. We
that's in the vent with the guard uniform and the saber that we put in there last time.
yes. And there is a saber. So I mean, well,
Oh
thing is
yeah,
like
that's
for
true.
so we gotta do this around like I imagine it's nighttime right now. We gotta do this around like 12 p.m. So I think, uh, you all should pick your locks, get your daggers ready. Then when the god comes back, jump him.
Are you saying that we do this tonight?
Yeah, why not?
Because you don't have the dragon freed tonight.
I could get him free tonight.
It is very bold. I like this plan. Do not give them time to suspect. You know, Alistair, right now you are undetected outside of your cell, but sometimes I wonder if they do not have other ways of suspecting this. So,
What?
Don, you distribute the saber to Verona, and what kind of instrument do you give to Alarin Roth?
I give him a dagger.
A dagger? All right,
Yeah,
very
a nice,
good.
cute little dagger for a nice, cute little gnome.
All
Don
right, I
doesn't say
like
that
it.
in
I like
canon.
it.
Yeah,
So,
And then Alistair gets the other dagger, I guess.
yeah, and I suppose that Alistair would probably, after what Verona said, probably get back in his cell.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And then Don would hop in the vents and he'd probably make his way to the dragon.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take a second to step out of the narrative very quickly while I set one thing up. But I'm about to
Yeah.
explain something to you that is very interesting. Though I need to just make sure that Alarin Roth has a dagger and that Verona has a saber. So 1 second.
She's Francais. She gets a saber.
There we are. So it was a few weeks ago when Dawn managed to somehow coerce a small hawk into sending a message for him to some indeterminate location, to giving him only the descriptions of these other people searching for Alistair. So here's what is going to happen. We're going to now see the execution of this plan, but there's more to it than that. This is not the right music.
Do I smell a mechanic?
Yes, what I have here in the center that you might have seen
Oh.
are 10 points of foresight. And these points of foresight are good for the entire table. And here's what happens with this community foresight. Well, first off, Don, I'm going to go ahead and move you closer to the dragon since that's where we're going to pick up. But uh, what happens is anyone, any one of you, and I'm going to say this also might include your allies, Alarin and Verona, can draw from this pool of community foresight when you wish. And this foresight works just like your regular foresight, and you can use your own foresight still. But there's one unique thing that you can do, and this you can also do with your own foresight. You don't have to use the community foresight if it runs out, but you can spend 3 points of foresight to introduce a player character into the story. Now, you don't have control on exactly how they're introduced, and if too many are introduced at once, well, they might not be in the best situation. But when you decide that your player character has entered this story, whether they've found this prison, whether they've ended up in there, or anything else, you can, yeah, spend 3 points of foresight and be introduced to the action. But
Ooh.
for right now, uh, Dawn,
Music. Yes.
you are currently have made your way sort of following the same circuitous difficult path from the interrogation chamber up the lift shaft and finally to the chamber of the dragon. You have your lockpicks at the ready. What are you doing?
Psst. Hey, buddy. I'm back.
It is you.
Hey.
Have you brought food?
No. But I'm about to get ya a lot of food. We're planning on going tonight.
Tonight,
Yes.
I loathe what I have been reduced to here. You think that you can free me?
Yeah, and we'll get revenge on the people who locked you up in here.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage, Dawn.
Persuasion.
Because
Easy.
you're really speaking his language. He says,
Very well.
and he kind of holds out the one leg with this faintly glowing manacle on it. And you can see the mechanism sort of holding the lift in place is still just right above him.
All right, let's see what I can do about this baby. And I want to try to pick it.
All right. Roll a thieves' tools check.
It's dexterity, right?
Yes. you try to jab it in the lock. You try and try, and then you take 2 points of lightning damage as you feel this jolt go through you.
Gah! Ow!
He says,
They've reinforced the lock. Though I believe that they made it for those of weaker stuff. Keep trying.
Okay, let me try again. I like spit in my hands, rub them together. And or maybe not. I don't know.
oh, you feel you could get a little further, but you still feel another jolt go through you as you take 4 points of lightning damage.
Keep trying. Keep
Okay.
trying.
Okay, I got this. Last time, because it's gonna open.
Oh, it feels so close, and you feel like you've actually started to loosen one of the mechanisms, but it's not quite enough, and you take another 7 points of lightning damage. And he says,
Quickly. Keep going. Keep going. I don't know if they have some way of telling.
Okay. He's like, his eyes are like going, like derpy. Hi, Mom.
Random
picking a lock.
question.
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I don't even know if we'd have to spend foresight, but could we say that Don, because Don already tried picking this lock before and failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had mentioned it to Alistair. What if Alistair had told him, well, that's because you didn't do this, this, that. Instead, you're supposed to do this, this, that.
Are you
Ooh.
asking for advantage?
Pretty much.
I don't think that Alistair could do that without even, being able to see or examine the lock. Though I will say, if Don were to spend 1 point of foresight, that could he could turn that 17 into a success.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. No more foresight. It's fine. We got 10. Let's go.
All right, and get rid of that 7 damage. So as you are working on it, you feel like you managed to jab your lockpick right into there. It comes loose. You see the shekel come off of him, and you see the dragon kind of spread out his wings, and he goes, "Rrr!" And this gout of sort of acid spreads out of his mouth. You have to almost dodge out of the way as it sort of splashes against the ceiling and leaves it steaming.
He says, Ooh, I've waited a long time for this.
You see him crawl across the floor, squeeze himself through the tunnel.
Oh.
You see him start just tearing away at the mechanism that, not at the mechanism, but at sort of the shaft of the lift to get seemingly to like the floor underneath.
Oh, wait. You can't go underneath. Wait, actually.
What?
Underneath. That might. Or do we want to go over? Wait. I think it'd be better if we went over.
Why?
Wait, actually, maybe never mind. Actually, yeah, keep going.
And it seems like that's all he needs, and he begins to continue tearing down. And so, at this instant, Alistair, you are in your cell. You have already prepared the other 2 cells to be unlocked, but just being held in place for right now. As you, not that one. picking the right music track. As you, having waited several minutes for Dawn, you are not sure how long it takes for Dawn to crawl his way through these air shafts, but it's been maybe about a half hour or so since you last saw him, and you hear somewhere far in the distance this ding, 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 and then another one, ding, 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 and another a little closer, ding, ding, and then you hear shouts somewhere deep within the prison, and then you actually see this prison guard sort of rushing forward, and he's got another one of these guards trailing right behind him. And there, as you listen to him, you overhear him saying, "What the hell's going on? I don't know. They say it was something to do with the dragon. I don't know if that's true, but I heard something through the
through the phone. I don't know. I don't know how it happened. Yeah, through the phone horn, they said it was something to do with the dragon.
And they are just rushing past you. You see them almost like skid as they avoid just running into the wall and turn very swiftly, sharply down this sharp curve and then disappear from sight.
See, I see a cue.
Well,
All right. Is this it? Is this it? Are we going?
well, that's definitely Don's distraction.
Okay. Okay, all right.
You see Alarin very, very cautiously sort of push his cell open and then like take one tentative step out, and then another, and then finally fully out into the hallway. And he says,
Oh, God, I hope I'm not hallucinating.
Listen, you're not hallucinating, but you need to be very quiet. We need to make sure we don't attract attention.
Okay. Okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I believe you, and I respect what you're saying to me. So, yeah, sounds good. Are we gonna get my suit, or is that off still on the table, or
Will your suit survive underwater?
I think it should. I think it should.
Would the path to his suit also be the path towards the dragon?
It's difficult to tell exactly whether it goes towards the dragon or not.
The dragon's like eating the raven right now.
I mean, does Don go past this grate, or go past the vent where he sees the suit when he's going towards the Raven's room?
I think
Oh,
he
that's-
would. Yeah, actually, because I imagine he would have to. Well, he has to be in this. So, like, in order to get to the dragon, he needs to be around coming out of this. In order to come out of this, he needs to get through this.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. So, huh. Yeah, I'd say that. Well, Don would probably go through the interrogation chamber to go up the shaft to the dragon's room, but yeah, he would pass right by here to do that,
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
which is like sort of the closest spot that goes by that storage room.
Here's the thing: your suit might be a little close to the action of the distraction, and well,
Oh, okay, if you say so. But it's a really cool suit.
you could build another one, couldn't you?
I could, but it would take so long. I've been working on these electromagnetic nodal reactors for years.
Ooh, to be fair, but I don't know. Never mind. I won't meta.
No, go ahead.
Can I? Alright, just
Sure.
sorry, Dad. Okay. Here's the thing. I guess we didn't think about how are we gonna get smashed through the metal grate. So maybe we could
I
use.
thought he said the grate wasn't really screwed down or anything.
It wasn't.
So how? What?
Okay. In that case, we're fine.
All right. So you see Verona kind of casually step out of her cell, always seeming oddly unflappable. And she looks towards you, Alistair, and she says, "So, Alistair, fearless leader, what is our plan?"
Well, first, you're going to have to tell me how it is exactly that you plan to make me seem dead.
But what is that like scratching sound that I keep hearing?
I think that's sorry.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. I was distracted. What was the last thing you said?
I said, well, you're going to have to tell me, first of all, what exactly is this plan of yours to make me seem dead? And when exactly does it have to happen? Does it have to happen before we leave the prison?
I'd say that it would have to happen in the course of the events here. You know, I built up a reputation for having a something of a grudge against all of the other under knights. And well, if a guard catches us right as we are leaving this place, it might not be so unusual if I were to, say, murder a fellow under knight in cold blood before them.
Got it. So we do want the guards to see me get killed. Okay.
So, shall we then?
Yes, I suppose we shall. And Alistair kind of creeps up those stairs right next to him,
Okay.
looks
So
to see
you
like
go to
what's
right
around
there.
the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see the where they kind of continue and seem to let out into this other room.
Don't forget your barrels.
Do we? Do we? I mean, sure. Go grab the barrels.
Yeah,
All
grab
right,
the barrels.
so Alarin and Verona are kind of together carrying a barrel right behind you.
A barrel, singular.
Uh, I don't
Barrels
know,
aren't
how
that
much does
heavy.
a barrel weigh?
Yeah.
I mean, how much room is there in a barrel?
Well, probably enough room for the two of them. You know, Alarin is very he's a very slender kind of gnome, a little
Okay,
bit malnourished.
they'll share. And you have your own barrel.
And I have my own barrel. Sure.
Yes.
So we take our barrels and
Well,
basically,
you know what?
Huh?
Let me go ahead and roll a. I'll roll strength checks for both of them. Not great.
Girl, come on.
Not
Girl,
great.
come on.
Yeah, together they are carrying one barrel.
I suppose that I can grab a barrel.
All right, you're grabbing a barrel. It does take both hands, so you know if you do encounter any enemies, they're probably going to get at least one hit on you first before you can retaliate.
Good thing rangers have advantage on me. So yeah, Alistair goes around the next corner and kind of peeks around to make sure there's nobody there.
All right, make a perception check. Oh, very nice. Without just like with barely one, you don't even actually peek all the way, but you just are looking and you can see faintly a shadow move across like a bit of candlelight, and you realize that there is a guard still holding watch in this particular room, which seems to be a small office.
Take attack
Peeks out.
time.
You know that there's a bell pretty close to him. You see him like sort of pacing slightly.
Is the bell going off?
No, no. It seems like the bells are manually rung, and the bells are all definitely seem to be coming from the east wing of this prison.
Stabby, stabby.
You know, Verona sort of looks at you, seems to notice, and kind of edges up close to you, kind of leaving the barrel that she and Alarin are holding. Kind of, she just looks at you expectantly, waiting for some kind of a signal.
What? You want to attack him? Do we really have time for that?
She kind of just shrugs towards you. We must do something.
Fine.
Oh, and Alistair also, you're at full health right now. I noticed that you're, it says that you're at half, but Yeah, I think that was from a previous day.
I suppose while he's turned around. Ooh.
Yeah, he gets to about here in his pacing and then turns around like he's going to pace the opposite direction. It doesn't seem like it's a formal pacing, almost more of a nervous pace.
So remember that thing I told you about a few weeks ago, where outside of combat assassinations?
Well, you mean the thing where you can use your not uncanny, your cunning action to give yourself advantage?
Yeah, where I could like sneak up just behind the guy and use my sleight of hand to just slit his throat without him even realizing I'm there, if I stealth enough.
Oh. I don't think we ever came to a decision on
No.
that.
We didn't. That's why I'm asking you now.
Yeah, you can't
figured-
just sleight of hand and completely kill a dude.
Yeah, I kind of figured you wouldn't let me do that when they're like on alert. So I just had to ask.
Yeah. I will say though, you do have the sentinel feat, which is a pretty useful thing right here.
I can stop him from moving, but that's about it. I guess Alistair would try to sneak across to the other. Is there anywhere to hide on the other side of the room that like Alistair could wait for him? Like the table?
So you want to like dash across the room while his back is turned and hide in the table?
Yeah, then I'll give her the signal and we'll both jump in at the same time.
Uh-huh.
All right. In that, all right, you wait until his back is turned and he kind of is walking. Go ahead and make a stealth check as you dash across and sort of behind the table. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I was gonna give him a bonus because you're doing that just in the middle of the room, but even with his bonus, there's no way he'd detect you from there. So you very quickly rush across, hide under the table, and meanwhile, Verona is hiding right here behind the wall. Okay.
And the next time that he comes back over towards, where he was like closest towards us, and then turns around again, I'm going to give it the signal for us to both attack him.
All right. So he kind of goes up, turns around, and at that, you give your signal?
Once he turns around where his back is to her. Yes.
That's where he is right now.
Yes.
Okay, so as he turns his back, Verona kind of dashes out, or not dashes out, but as swiftly as she can, and you both attack him at the same moment. Go ahead and roll your attack, Alistair.
Get him! Get him!
Oh, that should have been at advantage, but that still manages to hit. So, yeah. So that is 7 plus 14, 25 points of damage.
Do I need to do my sneak attack too, or is he already dead?
Oh, that's not your... Oh, yeah, you do your sneak attack too. Absolutely.
Ignore the 2.
Okay. Wow, 16 sneak attack?
Yeah, I think that's a max, isn't it?
Hot damn. That...
Yeah.
Okay. That guy is super... You both just... Before he even knows what's happened, his back is just turned, and with both of you attacking at once, her saber in his back and your dagger in his neck, he's just... Boom. Thumps to the ground, dead.
I think that we're going to try to hide him under the desk as well so no one sees him.
All right. You drag him over, the both of you, and put him right there underneath the desk. And Alarin kind of, at this point, comes across the around the corner, sort of dragging one of the barrels. He says,
"Oh, okay, guys, I'm real excited. I'm really positive. Oh my God, what happened?"
I thought I told you to keep quiet.
Okay, yeah. Quiet. I'm real quiet. You won't even know I'm here. But oh, geez, that guy's just like dead, like really dead.
I used to be an assassin. What do you think?
I mean, like, but like I didn't think you were like one of those kinds of assassins. You're like a, like a cool assassin. Like you play poker and you drive like a fast cart.
I mean, I do play poker occasionally, and I do prefer driving fast things, but anyway. Alistair looks around the other corner over here.
All right, you look around that corner, make another perception check.
Almost didn't turn off advantage.
Oh, yeah. So you look, and it's very clear. You can see that there are a couple of crates and barrels at the end, but everything you can see down the corner suggests there's no one coming.
Yeah, he signals to the others to come on, let's go.
All right. They grab their barrel. I assume that you are grabbing yours, and you
Yeah.
head down that hall.
Yep. And then once we're down there, I guess one more peek around one more corner. Or actually, probably closer towards the top of the steps.
All right. So, and you're just looking out for anyone who's coming.
Just to make sure there's no one else up there.
All right. Make a perception check. You look, and you do, in fact, see someone coming your way, and you have to kind of quickly duck to avoid being seen. One guard also looking a bit uneasy. It seems like this dragon thing is it's very unusual for them. It's got them definitely more perturbed than you've seen them at any other point in the time in this prison. You can still hear the distant bells.
Alistair kind of turns back towards Verona. Well, there's our one guard that you would have to have see me die. Problem is, he's still looking right at us, and we need to get to the grate before you do this.
She says, okay, let's go back around the corner and wait and see if he's pacing. He probably is doing the entire hall.
Okay, and I guess we'll do that.
All right, you go back around the corner. Not sure how my gnome got turned upside down, but you actually do hear the footsteps of the guard coming closer and closer. You kind of hear the distant echo as he steps across the grate, and you can hear him coming closer in this direction. What are you doing?
Opening the botch table for some reason. I don't know how that happened. I guess we can kind of get back up on the steps so that even if he looks around the corner, he won't quite see us.
All right, I'm gonna need you and everyone in this party to roll stealth checks.
Oh boy.
Yomo's good.
Oh,
It's all right.
And let's see, does Elrin have a stealth proficiency? No, he just has dexterity. He did better than you. Of course, Alistair does the worst of these three.
uh-huh.
So quickly, you guys sort of dash back up here to where you're worrying he won't hear. And as he comes, you see him kind of go around the corner for a second. And then he kind of stop, turn his head. And then he sort of looks up. He can't quite see where you guys are, but he's definitely pointing in your direction. And he calls out, "Hey, hold down. Who's there? Who's there? if you're not on regular duty, then you're supposed to be up there dealing with the copper dragon. Hey,
Has Alistair ever heard? Has he heard any of the guards talk before? Like for a long time,
he's definitely heard them talk.
so that he can use that feature of his to mimic their voice.
Oh, yes, he can. All right. So what does Alistair say?
He said, "I'm patrolling up here to see if it make sure all the other prisoners stay ruly and all."
All right. Roll a deception check with advantage. All right. He kind of stops. It looks like he's not going to buy it for a second, and then he says, "Well, all right. Well, better the rest of them dealing with that dragon than us, you hear me? Okay. Gonna keep on the patrol. I'm supposed to check on the prisoners in the East Wing." And he sort of turns back around, and you hear his footsteps just echo into the distance.
Alistair waits a second, then just, oh, thank God that worked.
All right, Alistair. I'm not sure how long it will be, but I think we need to move quickly now.
Yeah, Alistair kind of I think we'll just head up towards the grate cautiously at this point, but no more like stopping and starting.
All right, you head up there easily enough. It seems clear that there are no more guards in this particular hallway at this moment. You're here looking at this grate. It is this huge, immense, heavy metal thing. You can see, looking at it more clearly, it doesn't seem to be screwed in. It seems to be almost resting like on a built-in ledge, but it looks heavy as all get out.
But, okay, so if all three of us tried to move it, would it be a strength check or, I guess, athletics?
I'd say all three of you trying to move it. I'll say, Alistair, you can roll athletics with advantage.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Ugh.
You dig your fingers into the grate, try to lift. Nothing. Does not even begin to budge.
Times like this, I wish Alcana were here. She'd be able to move this thing no problem.
Oh, my suit would be able to lift this up. Lickety split.
Did Don tell Alistair the general area of where the suit is?
Oh, yeah. Don drew a map for Alistair.
Okay. Alistair's going to, creep up here and just peek around the corner.
Oh, just into that dark area?
Yes.
Yeah, and as soon as you approach there, you see that
Okay,
it is
damn it.
indeed a very dark part of the hall, but it seems to just end in a wall.
Damn. It looked like that was another way over. Shit.
There is the vent.
Yeah, it seems like the only way forward is to go to the end and around that switchback.
You would have to go past where that guard is going in order to get to your suit.
Oh, well. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do as an assassin, right? You wear ghillie suits, and then you swim up in the water, and then you get up, and when you take it off, you're wearing a white tuxedo.
I usually prefer black tuxedo. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know, man. You brought it up.
I wonder. Is there anything around that we could use to help us lift the grate? Like I don't know, a piece of wood to use as kind of a lever to lift it up.
You do see those crates over at the sort of at the far ends of this hallway, though it seems like with how heavy this grate is, you're not sure if just a hunk of sort of container grade wood will be enough to give you any help.
Looks like we don't have much of a choice. guess Alistair will go up towards the other hallway and peek around to see if there's any guards over there. Which there are.
All right, another perception check.
Yeah, boy.
Oh. Very, very nice. Yeah, with that, I will let you carry that perception check through the next 3 perception checks that you have to make, since that's a natural 20, and you don't really get any benefit for it being a nat here. But yeah, you look down these steps, where these steps go down. Clearly, no one there. Though you do think that you hear a faint movement in the room beyond where it turns.
I guess the next perception check I'll use that for is just peeking around that corner there.
Yeah, you see that same guard who seems to be in another small office, and you see him kind of searching through this other table. For a second, seems completely unaware of you, and after a second, he pulls out a small flask, and he sort of takes a deep swig of it. After that, he sort of gives a deep sigh and sits down heavily behind this particular desk.
He's drunk.
And you can see that there's sort of another doorway, and it seems like another hall that turns slightly beyond this room, as well as another turn and a bell to the sort of one going to the right from your perspective and one to the left from your perspective, or on this map, north and south.
Does he look drunk, or is he just still, drinking?
He doesn't look drunk. It seems like he's sort of in the process of wanting to get drunk, but you're not sure how long that'll take.
So I could try to sneak past him, but I have to take the gnome with me.
Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to figure out his suit on your own.
Yeah. And even if I could, I have to bring the suit to the gnome.
That is true.
If only there were another distraction.
The roar gets louder.
Is there anything around the room that looks interesting, I guess? I don't know.
Roll a perception check.
I can't just use that natural 20 for that one, or...
Oh, wait, yeah. Sorry. That you've already... I said I'd let you use it for the next 3 perception checks. So, as you look around the room, you see that there are sort of bookshelves to either side behind him. On top of one of these bookshelves, sort of positioned a little bit precariously, is what looks like a large sort of ornamental battle axe. You see that there are a few crates and barrels, and you see also on the top of the opposite bookshelf where there's the battle axe, there appear to be a few coils of rope of different varieties. One that's silk, one that's hemp, one that's some material that you haven't seen before, one that's just a length of chain. And then there is this large oil lantern burning directly above him.
How hard would it be to throw a dagger and cut the oil lamp?
I'd call that a DC 15 attack. Or you know what? DC 14.
That really helps.
Hell yeah, it does.
Unless one of the other two has a better idea, I think that's what I'm going to try to do.
Bada bing,
right.
bada boom.
Want me to just roll the attack then?
Sure, roll that attack. You throw your dagger right at where the sort of glass reservoir, this oil lantern is, and as it hits it, you see it shatter and this oil spill right on top of him, and his cape catches fire. It seems like it doesn't quite hit him on the skin, but he just gets something else. Whoa, whoa, whoa! And he sort of is jumping around back to you, sort of trying to tear off his cape, tosses it towards the desk, and you see that this pile of parchment on top of the desk also starts to catch fire. All right, what are you doing?
Does he seem distracted enough that we could all sneak past him?
You get the sense that you'd probably have advantage trying to sneak past him right now.
All right, then I guess we'll try to sneak past him.
You don't know what advantage is, but you just feel like you would have it.
All right, all three of you, or just you and Alarin?
I mean, I suppose we should let Verona stay here in case another guard comes by for whatever reason, so...
All right. So, yeah. Alistair, roll that stealth check with advantage.
Really?
Are you fucking... Look at that foresight, baby!
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm gonna
What
spend 2 of my foresight to let both of us re-roll that.
Well, you,
Would that need more, though?
you need
Yeah,
three, don't you?
re-roll is 2 foresight.
And we have the 10 foresight, so... Although I guess we'll need that for later. I don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe you won't. If this goes well enough, maybe this is the last public foresight you'll need.
True.
Should we spend 4 foresight to re-roll it for both of them?
I'll spend 1 of mine and 3 of the... Yeah.
All right, go ahead and delete 3 of the table foresights, and I will go ahead and roll for him once more.
My god.
Oh,
Hello?
again.
Hello?
I hate my life.
What is...
It happened again.
Well,
At least it
what's-
wasn't you.
What's Alistair's stealth
Roll.
check?
Yeah. Advantage!
What the fuck?
That's okay.
That's alright.
Alistair's is technically just barely high enough.
That's a natural 6 for the record.
That's great.
Why?
Are you gonna spend 2 more to re-roll for Alarin, or no?
He rolled 2 natural 1s on advantage. I don't understand.
So did you.
Just use it.
Ugh, fine.
All right.
Thank you, God!
Okay.
Oh my god!
Right, burning through them. But as this guard is just frantically trying to put out his cloak and sort of dealing with this fire he started at the desk, you guys managed to very quickly sneak across the room. So are you going north or are you going south?
I guess it depends. What does the hallway look like?
You peek towards it, and just looking down very quickly, won't even make you check for that. You can see that it's a very short hallway and it seems to go into a T intersection.
Yes.
I think we're gonna go that way. Because I think
All right.
the map that Don gave me, that would lead right to where his suit is.
All right. So, Alistair, you sneak past the guard, you get to the bottom of this T intersection. When you get to that T intersection, what do you do?
I guess he looks around both corners to make sure there's no one else there.
All right, another perception check.
I think this is the third of the 3 that you'll let me use that one for.
No, the third one was to see if there's anything interesting in that room to look around when you saw the oil lamp.
Oh, I thought you had meant 3 more, not 3. Okay.
Actually, it was the second.
Well, no, that's
Yeah,
if
it's
he
all
had
3
meant
together,
3
yeah.
more. But if he meant 3, including the 1 that I rolled with it, then yes, that would be 3.
Fair.
Roll a d20. Oh, that's a good enough as it is. All right, yeah. So as you look around, you can actually see that there is another guard over here at the edge of this hallway, in front of a table, doing something there. You can see the rest of the hall as it is, and as you look, these seem to be cells, but unlike yours, the doors are not fully barred, but seem to be wood with sort of just small windows into them. And the cells themselves seem slightly higher quality, a little bit more humane. You can see a few prisoners through there.
Do they seem to be the kind of prisoners who, if I would let them out, they would attack the guard? Do they look like they're the kind of prisoners who are angry, not wanting to be here?
It's difficult to tell that at a glance. Definitely the one in the center is the most striking. He's definitely the oldest person you've seen here. He's got this. He's got sort of tall, thin, this graying red hair that has these tight curls and this small sort of red and white beard. But the other two are a little more nondescript, which who knows? Maybe that means something in a meta sense, but they are just sort of scruffy. One of them has kind of a haunted look that you've seen before in here. You're not sure if he'd do anything. The other one, the one sort of to the left, looks a little bit not exactly crazed, but he looks like he's ready to strike out.
Could I try to sneak up to his door and try to pick the lock?
All right. Roll a stealth check, Alistair. All right, very nice. Or was that when you rolled with advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as you approach the lock, you can tell this isn't quite like the lock to your own cell door. These locks are a little different, so you're not going to get advantage with this, but go ahead and roll a Thieves' Tools check.
Dexterity, I'm guessing?
Yeah, either dexterity or intelligence. That is just barely enough. So as you are fiddling with it, you feel the door just very faintly swing open.
As soon as it does that, Alistair just kind of gives a light tap, enough that the prisoner would hear it, but not the guard, and then runs back over towards the hallway and hide.
All right. The prisoner gets out. He sort of looks around. He says, Hey, you. I want to show you a piece of what the hell you've been doing all this time. And he just runs up to the guard and throws a punch right at him, which somehow manages.
So while this is happening, Alistair's going to go to the room that, because of the map that Don gave him, thanks buddy, he knows is the storage room where the suit is. And I guess, well, is that door locked too? Natural. Good job, guard.
Yeah, I'll say that you can carry over that 18 and, well, the guard's facing, so it seems like it would be hard for him not to see you, but it seems like he's got more immediate concerns at this moment. So
Can
yeah,
you roll on
that
the botch table?
door, what's that?
The guy got a natural one. Can you roll on the botch table?
Oh, that's a natural one. Okay, yeah, let me go ahead and roll on the botch table. Okay, so in that case, he doesn't actually see you as he runs past. You see him try to swing this halberd at this prisoner who took him by surprise, and as he does, he just falls right on his face. And as that happens, you move quickly past him to this room. You see this room, it has a very simple lock this time, but a lock nonetheless. Roll another Thieves' Tools check. Oh, far more than enough. You barely have to look at this thing before you're allowed entrance in there, and Alarin quickly follows behind you. In here, you can see his suit, and this suit, it's a pretty impressive piece of machinery. It is about 7 feet tall, and it seems to have been once a suit of plate armor, but you can see that there are several little like wires and little sort of extra bits that have been soldered onto it. Alarin rushes to the back and he actually pops something out of the butt, and you see that it's this small set of like wrenches and screws and little bits of wire. It seems to be a set of tinker's tools, and he sort of in a second does a couple of things to the joints, and then he sort of motions you to come around the back with him. He says,
All right. I'm gonna need your help to get this thing started up, okay?
What do you need me to do?
All right. I'm gonna pull this cord, and when I pull this one, I need you to pull that one.
and you can see on the back of the suit there seems to be this like round metal cage, and underneath it is this just immense coil of wire that's got to be like at least 2.5 feet across. And he says,
All right. Are you ready? All right. I pull on one, then you pull on two, okay?
Uh,
and he gestures. You can see at the side of this wheel are these two what look like sort of zip cords.
so we just pull at the same time?
No, not at the same time. In order to create the proper polarity, we need to do it in sequence, okay? So first me, then you, then me, then you.
All right.
Right. And he says, one, and he pulls it, and you see this little like puck inside of this cage start spinning around. And then as it pulls back in, he calls out to you, two.
And Alistair pulls.
All right, you pull. Go ahead and make either an acrobatics or an athletics check. Oh, very nice. It seems like this is enough to get it to start. Something is happening. And then he calls out again, one, and then two, one, two. And as this is happening, you see that the sparks are starting to fly off where this puck is spinning around and around this large metal coil until it becomes just this blur. And then you see that within the helmet, two lights suddenly turn on, and he rushes around to the front and he says,
All right, now watch this. He pushes something underneath the chest plate.
You see the entire chest plate swing forward, and in there is a tiny seat, perfectly gnome sized.
All right. Anything else you're gonna need in here before we get going?
Do I have... Alistair takes a quick look around.
All right, roll an investigation check.
Nope, nothing. Okay, let's
Nothing.
go.
Yeah, you don't see anything of note. So he hops into that suit. You see the door close behind him, and he almost pushes past you into the hallway, where you can see that this prisoner, he's straight up dead. You know, he's in a bloody heap on the floor. You see as the prison guard just puts down the final swing and pulls his halberd out of there. No rolls because it was so one-sided.
You got a
But
one.
you know, the prison guard did lose a few hit points in the course.
Yeah, one-sided towards the prisoner. Last I
Yeah.
saw.
But
Yeah, but anyway.
You see him sort of his eyes widen as he sees this war suit that has come to life finally. And Alarin, you hear his voice slightly muffled from within, called back behind you.
All right, so you think I should blast this guy?
Blast? What?
Well, not blast, like fist blast, like two fists and then I blast him. That does not sound the way that I wanted it to sound. But I've got these power fists.
Okay, go for it.
Right, and you see the guard sort of rushing towards him with the halberd. The war suit stomps ahead, and it is going to just hit twice at him with his fists, and these are going to be reckless attacks. Ooh, the first one does not manage to hit. The second one does manage to hit, and you see this one of these fists just pound into this guy's midsection, and you see just the wind get knocked out of him.
Do I get to attack? Or...
Yes, you do.
Well, I still have the dagger that I picked up after I threw it, but I guess I can't really get to him in melee range, can I? Because the...
Yeah, the war suit's kind of a little bit in the way. So he is going to go ahead, swing the halberd at this war suit, and it just bounces off of the heavy metal.
Ding.
With that, the warsuit is going to make 2 more regular attacks at him. First one does not hit. Second one does hit. Actually, does the perfect amount of damage. Just this slams into him. You see that the guard is visibly knocked back about 10 feet and just falls to the ground, unconscious. You see a little bit of blood trickling out of his mouth.
Holy shit. Alright, let's get back to the grate.
All right. Let's do this.
So, Alistair, as you get back up the hallway, you can see that this guard has made a fair bit of progress with his fire. He's managed to take off his cape, and it seems like he pulled another, like just an old suit of prisoner's clothes out of one of these crates on the opposite side, and has doused most of the fire on the desk, and is just in the last throes of putting it out. So if you're going to stealth across this time, you're not going to get advantage, but I will give you a +2.
Alright, let's try to go for it. Let me just roll the stealth then.
That's right. And oh yeah, the warsuit gets disadvantage on stealth.
Worth a shot.
Come on, warsuit.
All
on,
right.
warsuit. Come on,
Yeah,
warsuit.
I'm gonna tell you with disadvantage, it's not going to be easy for him to get across anyways. So as the warsuit starts to step into the room behind you, the guard sort of turns around and he says, "Oh no, oh shit!" And he raises his halberd and he just tries to swing it at this warsuit. And as he does, it looks like it's about to connect, but as it just pings into the center of the chest plate, it just sort of bounces off.
Listen, buddy, you see this thing, right? This is made of a pure-ass metal, big, scary suit. Nobody knows that you saw us, for the record.
How the hell you get out of your cell?
I mean, well, what if I told you that one of the other guards helped me?
Roll a deception check.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Don't you try to bullshit me. Now, I don't know what you're gonna try to do, but
He looks very uncertain of himself.
Look, dude,
But
it's 2-on-1. We got the suit. Just pretend you didn't see anything. Nobody will know. Honest. In fact, maybe. No, you definitely didn't see us.
I'll let you roll one more perception check, because that seems like a fitting thing for a mastermind rogue to be able to do. Or, what did I say perception? I meant persuasion. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Dang, you have +10 persuasion? Okay, so he kind of backs up. He says, "This. Oh, shit. I never signed up for this. I never signed up for none of this." But it seems like his halberd is just kind of hanging by his side right now.
I think now would be a good time. Yeah, he walks over to the other end of the room, assuming this guy's going to let him.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he moves to stop you right now.
He walks over to where Verona is and says, "There's a guard there. If you're gonna kill me, now might be a good time."
She kind of looks at you, looks at the guard. She says, "No, not yet. They'll expect a body. And here, in the prison proper, no. They have ways of telling things. This I suspect. I will when the time is right."
Very well. So he just kind of motions towards the war suit. Can he see anything in there? He has to be able to see.
He can, yes.
He just motions like a, come on, let's go.
All right. Motions a come on, let's go. And are you guys all returning to the grate?
Yes, though Alistair's going to probably have a look around the corner first to make sure no one has showed up there since then.
Yeah, I'll say that because Verona's kind of been keeping watch in the general area, that she's managed to keep an eye on whether people are coming that way. And yeah, no checks. You guys managed to make it back over to the grating.
Well, let's see if this suit can really live up to the hype. Get that thing up.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, your mind is gonna be blown. Your socks are going to be knocked off.
And he is going to go ahead and roll a. Let's see. Where is it? I'm sorry. I was looking at his at the gnome sheet. I've got a separate sheet for him and his warsuit. Oop, that should not be a disadvantage. Why is that a disadvantage?
Just take the 25, I guess.
All
Since it
right,
was the
I'll
first
take the
one.
25. So you see this warsuit kind of dig its armored, gauntleted fingers into the grate, and it starts to move. It starts to move, and you can see more sparks kind of flying off of the wheel on the back. And you see that the grate is actually starting to move away, sort of scraping heavily against the stone.
And he says, okay, all right, I'm getting it. It's gonna be a little trickier than I thought. I need to really keep pulling.
Does another check, and this time the grate is pulled a little further, but you can see that there's a few more bright blue sparks behind it, and then the little light in the eyes of this warsmith goes dim.
He says, shit, I need more power. The both of you, come back behind and do the zip cords.
Okay. And we kind of, well, I guess Verona does. Alistair does.
Yeah. So, yeah, roll another acrobatics check.
Natural 20.
Oh, dang, very nice. Let's see, how does she do? Oh, wow. Same number as you, but it's not a natural 20. It seems like Verona's a little bit more skilled than you.
Ooh.
I went charisma, she went dex.
Yeah, so yeah, as you are pulling, it seems like this warsmith, it's very quickly beginning to build up more power. More of these spikes are flying, and he manages to dig his fingers in and make another athletics check. Oh, not quite enough. This time it seems like it's telling. It says, all right, still need more power. Keep pulling those zip cords. Keep pulling them. And he, as he's gearing up to make another check, you hear footsteps behind you. And you see at the top of the, like coming up the stairs, I should say, there is there are two guards coming your way. One of them is the standard guard, the likes of whom you've seen before, but right behind him is another one. This one not holding a halberd, seeming to have a longbow on his back and a saber at his side. And
Hey guys, does anybody want to be disguised as a guard?
Yo! Orson did show up.
I mean, yeah, Werson was the one who got that perception check for looking for the bird. So he would have been the first one to hear. And he's the actor, right?
Yo!
Did I miss something here?
I mean, sure, but like, there's no magic, so like, this is gonna be interesting.
Well, once you get that helmet
Right.
on, it's fine.
so as they come up, they say, the warden says,
Good God! They managed to get the war suit out. All right, I'm gonna detach these scum.
and the warden sort of rushes forward, and he is going to actually first. Let's see, what is he going to do? I'm trying to decide if he's going to attack Alistair or if he's going to attack the war suit. I think he's going to make his first attack against the war suit. He gets out his saber and kind of just slams it into the war suit. It bounces off, nothing. So then he turns around to you, Alistair, and he's going to make his second saber attack against you.
Ow.
Ooh. And
But I'm
that's
going
Ow.
to use my uncanny dodge to cut the damage in half.
all right. But he is going to do a little something extra with that.
Oh.
He is going to go ahead and use one of his fighter features to make this a particularly punishing attack. So that is, yeah, a total of 16 plus 6, 22, so 11 damage total that you take, Alistair, if you manage to have it.
Yep.
All right. Alistair, what are you doing?
Again with you people. Isn't there a goddamn dragon attacking you or something? He says that out loud.
Yeah, he just
Glares at you and says, I don't know how the hell you got out of your cell. I'm gonna put you back in there, you scum.
Don't suppose I can talk you out of doing this. Look, seriously, what's the big deal if I get out? Huh? What am I gonna do? Huh? What am I gonna tell about you? Why do you care? What does it matter to you, personally? How does it affect you? Go on, tell me.
And maybe you can pull that bullshit with one of these weak-minded mooks patrolling about this place. But I believe in this thing, and I'm not gonna let you try to do whatever this bullshit is that you're trying to pull.
He turns towards the other guard. You heard what he just called you, right? An idiot mook? What a commander, right? Real faith in his subordinates, huh?
Oh, gosh, well, I didn't know I am a little bit of an idiot.
Well, I mean, you could prove him wrong. I mean, if he goes down, who do you think gets his position, man? You're his right hand. You're walking with him.
Oh, no, it sure ain't gonna be me.
Then why did he choose you to come with him if he doesn't trust you as his right hand? Think
Oh,
about it.
I think they just don't trust me to go after that there dragon. And he's probably too important to risk himself after him.
Are you sure it's because they don't think you're too important to go against the dragon? Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
roll a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Ha! Doesn't matter.
Yeah, this guy at the top of the stairs seems to take a little bit of pause at this, but Alistair, that is going to be your turn. And as you are facing
Oh,
him,
can I use my bonus action? Wait, I can't do that. Never mind.
yeah, as you are sort of facing him, Verona just turns around, and she instead is going to use her uncanny, not her uncanny, her cunning action to disengage. And she goes over to this guy and she says, "Oh, I am so sorry about this, love." And she hits him with the saber, though it doesn't get sneak attack damage because it's not in the right thing. But yeah, she manages to. Oh no, she doesn't manage to hit him. He manages to kind of put down his halberd in the right nick of time and sort of block the attack. At this, the warsuit turns around, looking towards the warden, and is just going to go ahead and punch him twice.
Pew pew.
Oh, but neither one manages to hit. This warden, you can see he is very quick on his feet. He just dodges to the right, to the left, and out of the way of these fists. And this guard is he's gonna skip his turn this time. So now it is the warden looking towards the both of you, and he says, "Boy, I am going." That's not the voice that he had a second ago. He says,
Now, you scums, you have a chance. Turn around and go back into your cells now. We'll let the Raven deal with you. Or I can just get rid of this problem right here.
and he sort of seems to talk to you, but at the same time, he raises his saber once more and strikes twice at the warsuit.
Ooh.
Oh, so yeah, the first one manages to sort of get underneath the chest plate, and you hear a little "oh" come from underneath. But with that, Alistair, it is your turn.
How's the other guy doing? He's just kind of contemplating right now, huh?
Yeah, he sort of had had pause from that incident, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he was really totally convinced, just enough to make him kind of hesitate.
Should I keep going? Since it already kind of got him. Yeah, Alistair kind of turns back towards the eye. Seriously, what do you think this guy thinks of you, huh? He knows that that's probably why he brought you here to fight us. He's probably counting on the war suit to kill you so that his position isn't threatened. Come on, man, it's obvious. He brings you here, he trusts you, he knows you're a threat to his position.
Oh, I don't know about all of that.
Then why did he bring you? Tell me. Why?
I don't. Look, this is my job, fella.
Your job. Your job. You have a family.
I don't know. I got a mama, got a brother.
Do they know what you do here? The torture that these people go through?
Oh no, I don't work in interrogation, no sir.
But you work in this building, the same place where it happens. Would they think less of you for that, or would they think, "Oh, good job, you're in the place where they're torturing people"?
Oh, now you shut up. Go ahead and roll another persuasion with disadvantage. Yeah. No, it does not resound with him at all. In fact, he looks sort of hardened, and he says, "Now look here, you grade A asshole.
No.
Tired of you trying to condescend to me? No, sir. I ain't gonna take it no more."
How, Sway?
What's that?
How? How? Twice in one session.
You really don't want us to persuade these guys. Ugh, damn dice gods.
All right. With this, Verona is going to go ahead, looking at him just once more.
Hang on.
This time, hang on.
Talking's a free action, right?
Yeah.
Alistair says, "Verona, would you please just attack the damn warden?"
She says, she kind of calls out, "Now this one is the bigger danger. The warden can be disposed of, but can be indisposed, but this one could run and ring the bell, could bring more attention down on us." And as she says that, she brings down her saber on him, using her cunning action to kind of steal herself and give herself advantage. Not advantage, but to give herself a sneak attack. And yeah, she manages to sort of hit him like right sort of in the back of the thighs, and he kind of calls out, "Ah!" You see that his leg now is heavily bleeding. It looks like it did a fair bit of damage in one strike. And with this, it is Alarin's turn. And what he does is turn around, and instead of keeping on trying to fight this guy, it seems like the grate is not too far away from being pushed away, so he is going to go ahead and just try to pull it and pull it the rest of the way. So athletics check for him. Oh, he is not successful. It just straining and not quite able to pull it the rest of the way. With that, this guard, he sort of yes.
I don't know. Do we want to re-roll that? That's a good point.
It's up to you guys.
I mean, to be fair, if he rolls worse, then we just wasted foresight.
I mean, do you want to spend 2 foresight for him to reroll?
Arlen?
Yeah, to re-roll to move the grate. We need him to move
All
the
right.
grate.
All right,
Do we
let me
want to?
delete 2 of these community.
Or we could we spend our own foresight for that?
Oh, yeah, you can spend your own foresight if you want.
I know Fukuro has 1 point of foresight.
Thanks,
Or do you want to
Fukuda.
use one of Fukuro's foresight and one of the community foresights?
He said yes.
He said yes?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
he's cut out.
All right. So 1 community foresight. And yeah, you thought that you saw him fail just a second, but he hunkers down, tries again,
Oh dear.
and
You're
fails
kidding.
entirely.
Oh my.
And let's see.
Don't feel good, man.
Simple fail.
At least he
All
has
right.
foresight. We got one of them back, boys.
With that, it is.
Oh yeah, he gets a foresight back because he rolled on the botch table.
Well, that's his foresight, that's not your foresight.
Yeah,
He can
So
use his
this,
own
steals
foresight.
foresight.
This prison guard, he sort of seeming to have been sort of enraged by Alistair's last attempt to talk to him, he just goes ahead and moves away from Verona, who gets another opportunity attack against him, which doesn't hit anyways. And he is just go ahead and try to bring his halberd down on you, Alistair.
Please.
You take 5 slashing damage as this warder, I should say, he sort of looks between you, Alistair, and between the warsuit and what it's trying to do. Says, "Oh no, don't you dare!" And he's going to go ahead and strike twice at the warsuit.
Oh my
All right.
fucking
The
god.
first one hits. The second one also hits. So that's 14 plus 12, 26. As he manages to do quite a bit of damage to this thing, you can actually see the little trickle of blood coming down sort of the outside of the armor of this thing.
Are we sure that none of you want in on this? Like, absolutely positive?
I mean,
like I said, if you need, I have foresight to spend if you want Arcana to help.
Yes, most
How
of
about Alcana is the one who's or either Alcana or Natrix? Maybe one of you guys could be a guard
Arcana's
that
the only
does
one
suck
who
in.
can. The rest of us can't work in an anti-magic field.
Right. All right.
All right. Alistair, it is your turn.
Alistair is just entirely given up on talking to this guard. So, fuck it. I'm just going to attack the warder.
All right. Do you want to use your cunning action to give yourself advantage? Or wait, no, you don't have to because the warsuit is right there.
That's assuming I hit. But
Yeah.
I guess I'll just try it normal.
Ooh. Though, didn't you just say that Dawn brought you another dagger?
I have my my shivy thingy.
Yeah. Well, that counts as a dagger, so you can make an offhand attack if you want to with your cunning action or with your bonus action.
Nice.
Ooh, that unfortunately does not manage to hit. This guy, you can see as you try to jam towards him, he's wearing the studded leather armor, and he is very adept with it, very spry, limber, able to quickly evade your thrusts. With this, it is Alarin's turn. You can kind of hear him gasping, that is gas echoing across the interior of the steel suit as he makes another attempt to push this grate.
Yeah.
And it is, no, it's not
No.
quite enough.
No.
He's saying, I don't know if I can take much more.
And
All right. I think we should spend 3 foresight, and Alcana should be a guard that's running down from the north side, looking like that she's about to help take down these rowdy prisoners, and then boom.
hey, that's not your decision to make.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Or anyone, literally anyone, please.
As Verona kind of steps up and continuing to focus on this sort of hick guard, she once more takes her saber and just jams it right into him. And this guy is he's straight up dead. Yeah, she jams it into him, sort of pushes it up a little bit, angles it, and then sort of drops it, lets his body slide off of it onto the floor. And she says, Huh, well, that was actually rather easy. To think that these inspire so much terror. Now, that prison guard is not doing very well. But now it is the warder's turn, and he is going to go ahead, seeing that this warsuit is very vulnerable right now. He's going to go ahead and strike twice at him once more. That 26 manages to hit, and as he sort of jams it into what he's now put together, is the most vulnerable point on it. You hear, "Ow!" And the warsuit is still standing there, but you can see that the blood sort of dripping down the leg has become a much stronger flow. And the warder sort of turns to you, Alistair, and he says,
Now, I don't want to have to kill the rest of you. Go back to your cells.
Alistair, it is your turn.
No. And he just this time, that's so the aim feature only gives advantage to the first attack, right?
Yes.
Okay, well I'll do that with my first attack anyway.
All right. You manage to hit him, and you do get sneak attack on that. All right, so that's a total of 23.
Yep. And then the offhand, just to see. No.
Yeah, you manage to sort of focus and jam this dagger into him, this time managing to stick him before he can move out of the way. And he kind of coughs, but you can tell he is still standing strong. Verona, sort of off to the side of you, she sort of calls out, Alistair, I'm not sure what we can do. We need to grab the grate. And she sort of edges along to the side of him, and she is going to sort of kneel down by the grate, and let's see. She's going to see if she can finesse it open, which is going to be harder than doing it with athletics, but she's going to try. Hot damn! She did it. I said it takes 25 for that. So you see her kind of, I really didn't think she would do that. You see her kind of lean into this and sort of find a spot where it's precarious. And then you see that this grate kind of clangs loudly as the opposite side of it sort of bounces off the edge and falls into this just dark chasm below. And after a second, you hear a splash. And she says, Alistair, this is our chance. However, right now, it is the warder's turn. And he looks towards you, Alistair. He says,
So this is how it's gonna be, huh?
he hits you once, dealing 7 slashing damage. Hits you twice, 12 slashing damage, and this time he's going to go ahead and put a little extra oomph into it. 1 extra damage. But yeah, still, you take a total of 20 damage from these attacks.
Cutting it in half, actually.
Oh, that's right, you can do that.
So that's the second attack, so the 12 goes down to 6. Which would
Yeah,
be
that's right. That's right.
14
So,
damage.
yeah, so 6 plus 7, 13. That's right. So, Alistair, it is your turn.
Honestly, I think I'm going to use my bonus action to disengage and go over towards where Verona is. Yeah.
And you go over towards her, and then you just kind of like waiting to use your regular action to jump in sort of after she does,
Or maybe something
or
else.
whatever. All right.
Yeah.
So you kind of awkwardly push past where this just inert warsuit is, and Verona sort of looks to you with a little bit of a smile. She says, huh, "And you thought that I would help you escape? I
What
will
are you?
see. I will see you in hell, you under knight." And she jabs you with the saber.
Verona, what?
She does not hold back. However, you do, because you just took your turn, you have your reaction again that you can have it. But
If I,
what's that?
well, she doesn't get the sneak attack, right? So
She does. She uses her cunning action to give herself that attack.
I did not know we could do that.
Isn't that the whole point of the new thing?
No, the feature just gives you advantage, but she would have to use up all her movement for that.
Yeah. I mean, that seems to be what she's done. You know, she hasn't moved.
Oh, okay. So that's 7 plus 9. That's a lot of damage. But I'll cut it in half anyway.
Yeah, and as she does, she kind of pulls the saber out of you and like kind of half kicks you into the open grate.
Yeah. Okay.
You fall down.
Of course. What am I going to do? Just ignore that? No, he falls.
All right, you fall down and kind of smell this fetid water before you hit it, before you splash into it. I did not think you would be able to do that without getting someone else's help. Meanwhile, Dawn.
Hey, how you doing?
So, at this point, they've managed to somehow get a few forces up the lift. You see this dragon is now engaging with a handful of guards. As a matter of fact, let me put a handful of guards there.
Uh-oh. Hit him with the 1-2! Uppercut him!
You see him engaging with this handful of guards, and he sort of gets out this gout of acid that burns some of them, but it still seems that with the sheer numbers that they're slowly wearing this dragon down. And then you see, as when this dragon is sort of distracted, coming up the lift is the figure of the Raven.
No.
So Dawn, what are you doing?
Dawn, I think they're the entire time. Dawn wants to cast. He wants to cast Cure Wounds on the dragon. He's not. Huh?
I mean,
Listen.
are you invisible?
Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing. Dawn's gonna stay on this side. Stay hidden and continually. Oh wait! I have to touch the cast Cure Wounds, don't I? I do. Dawn wants to. He's kind of prepared to. Oh, you know what? I imagine he's prepared to like do anything that he needs to. He's gonna prepare like a whole person spell just in case. But you know, what? I think I'm gonna cast hold person on the Raven. Fuck it.
Oh, wow.
Yes, just round the bat. I
Okay.
see her and I'm like, oh, there's our target.
All right. Well, go ahead and let's see that. What's your spell save DC?
My spell save DC? It is 13.
13. Wisdom saving throw. All right.
Uh oh. She seems like the wise type. She
yes.
is.
Yeah.
Plus
Never
9.
mind.
What the fuck?
Yeah. You cast that on her, and she manages to sort of shrug it off. And as she looks around, her eyes narrow in on you. She says, "Boys, you take care of this terrible lizard here. It seems we have a Fey incursion in this place."
I turn invisible.
Can we use the rest of the foresight to undo that decision?
You want to undo casting hold person?
Yes.
That's my suggestion. I mean, I'm not the one playing.
Yeah, why not?
I'd say that's 2 foresight.
2 foresight. Okay, how about can I use one of my foresight and then one of the player foresight?
Sure.
Cool. Okay, yeah, we did that. I didn't do that. Well,
All
that would have
right.
been kind of fun narratively, but whatever. Here we are.
Yeah. So, Dawn, are you just kind of like hiding on the side and watching right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my action. I'm
All right.
hiding.
Roll a stealth check with advantage, Dawn.
Sure. Stealth. Don't fail. Thanks.
Oh, very nice. So, as these guys are hacking into the dragon, let's see. 6.
Come on.
6.
Stop it!
12. Yeah, that's 24.
You bitch!
Ooh. Yeah, that's 40. And is that, let's see, 1 halberd, 2 halberd? Oh, one more guy. 40, 55 points of damage. You see that they are working on hacking this dragon down.
Toxic.
Why aren't you just leaving?
Dragon Betty? Alright.
Every other animal that we have dies.
Why is everything I touch die? Alright. Dawn's gonna go invisible. And you know what? Is there any opening that the dragon made? Like, did he, like, slice into the grating at all on the bottom of the thing?
It
so he can
seems
fly
like
through?
he did slice up the bottom of the lift, but that's where everyone is gathered right now.
I know.
You might have more luck going above, but to do that, you'd need to work the mechanism over here at the edge of the room.
Wait,
alright.
You said that the thing has small holes in it, right?
Yeah, but...
Far too small for Dawn.
It's for Dawn, not for a regular ass spider.
Oh.
Ah! You're smart! No,
late.
Dawn's smart. That's smart because Dawn thought of it, right? Okay. Dawn wants to cast wild shape and turn to a spider.
An invisible
All right,
spider.
you turn into a regular ass spider.
Regular ass spider. It's real tiny. It's a fucking baby, and it's on the ceiling.
All right, turn to a baby spider on the ceiling, and
It has a diaper on. It's adorable.
Yes. So you go up to this grate and manage to watching as this thing unfolds as the dragon has a horrible round and everyone continues to wail on it. You see, as your last vision before you slip up the grate and into the storehouse, you see the raven standing back, pull out a vial of blood from within her feathered cloak, and just seem to hold it, look at it in front of her bone-like mask. But as you emerge onto the top, you find yourself in this odd bare room. you can instantly tell that you are in the on the surface of Fort Ulthas, and off through the door, you see another guard, but this guard is tied up, has a gag in his mouth,
What
and
the?
I want to ask, who is waiting there in the room with the guard? Who is responsible for dispatching him?
I think.
Well,
Eeny, meeny,
That's
miny,
not
you know-
Ron's choice.
Or it isn't?
No,
Oh.
of course
I mean,
not.
narratively,
You
that
know-
makes the most sense for it to be
Hmm.
Fukuro, but that doesn't make sense on a player level.
Yeah, please don't make me do Fukuro now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so between Worsened Alcana and Notrix, who's there?
You know what they see first?
What do they
Base-
see?
Okay, so they first see a smug-looking Alistair at first.
Ooh.
Just
Oh.
proud of himself and chuckling at this, and he sounds kind of vaguely like Alistair and says, "Huh, an easy job. Wouldn't you
Well-
agree, Upper Al?"
Dawn,
Wow.
you see this Alistair standing over this tied up guard. You have no idea how he got all the way out here when you thought he was going to go through the grate.
I turn uninvisible and immediately go, Al? How the hell did you get out of here? And how did you get your outfit back? Where's Verona?
You see, this is a story for over a drink or two.
Can I roll insight? No, actually, never mind. Don wouldn't tell. What? Okay. What happened to the river plane? What happened to? How are you? Ooh,
Shh, shh. It's okay. Get in my hood and we'll leave without a second thought.
all
Yeah,
right then.
that's too late for that, Leighton.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, further away from this place, a little bit downriver and away from Fort Ulthas itself, Alistair, after a harrowing experience of swimming, half bleeding out through this fetid water, something closer to sewage, feeling almost lost in the process, you finally manage to come to a place where you're not sure if you can go on any longer, but you feel a rope sort of it's been left in this water that you grasp onto. You're not sure who left it. But as you pull yourself alongside and finally come out, see the afternoon, whose face does he see waiting for him?
I think it's pretty obvious who he's going to see next.
Well, I know who he wants.
Yes, Alcana, you had been contacted by Worsened a few weeks before after having this odd message brought to him by a hawk as he was exploring this region of the woods not too far away from Fort Ulthas. You had anchored your boat somewhere, you can tell me where, but you had somehow managed to make connection with each other. Maybe whether you kept up correspondence during this whole 5-month gap or not, that's up to you. But you had found your way to this place and had in fact started planning on a way to enter this prison yourself underneath through this culvert that goes seemingly underneath the prison. But I just repeated myself so many times in there. But you find, to your surprise, an extremely worn out Alistair dragging himself along the rig that you've devised to get in there.
By Sarah Doman, is it?
Who? I imagine his eyes are like half closed, filled with water. Who? No.
Alistair, is that really you?
And with that,
Am I dreaming?
let's take a 10-minute break. We cut to a half hour or an hour later. Worsened, using all of the various tricks and magic at his disposal, has managed to secure him and Dawn safely out of the odd storage house at the edge of the Fort Ulthus training grounds and into the forest. Alcana has helped the barely conscious Alistair out of there and has sort of used some of her own spare clothing, or she used her cloak to sort of help cover him up. And worsened Alcana, Don, and Alistair have all regrouped at a spot further east of Fort Ulthus itself, in the forest, where they feel relatively confident they shouldn't be immediately found. I want to ask, where is
So,
Notrix in all of this? Was Notrix part of the loop with Worsens and Alcana?
I think so, yes. My idea for him was that he was, well, this is a forest, right?
That's right.
My idea for him was that he was, well, he was being a tree in the forest, looking out and as part of the plan. Because
Ooh.
the awakened tree can perfectly disguise itself as another tree.
All right. So, you guys, the four of you, Don, Alistair, Worsen, and Alcana, have now gathered behind this tree that seems almost perfectly shaped to shield and sort of disguise your location from anything close to the river or where anyone coming east from Fort Ulthus could ever see you.
so if you don't mind, I would think that once Worsen dispels his Alistair illusion, you would see that he actually has a new outfit on. Because time skip stuff, yay!
Now, Kana definitely looks like she's significantly better groomed than the last time that you saw her. Like, almost like she's put a lot more effort into it than normal. Like, the haircut looks a lot more clean. It looks like she's definitely taken much better care of her armor and whatnot.
Don ran out of hair gel like 2 months ago, so his hair is a wreck right now.
And Alistair just looks like complete shit.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking that Okana would basically, when they had the first available opportunity, when they were fairly certain they were out of sight, she would have started administering healing to Alistair big.
Yeah, Alistair was sort of fading in and out of consciousness over the past half hour, but now that you guys are in a place where you feel at least relatively safe, you're able to heal him.
And I'm thinking Worsen would, be the classic little helper, just help him up with some prestidigitation on the clothing to, making you all spiffy. There, Al. It's a there, Al. I'll make it all nice and clean.
You're out of there. You're out of there.
We
Thanks,
did it.
Sarah Dillman. Thanks, Sarah Tillman.
It is good to see you two safe and sound, the tree
Ah!
says.
Ah,
Don yells.
Notrix.
Yes, it is Notrix. Hello.
damn it, Trix! You weren't supposed to reveal your name fully like this.
I really don't think it is the time for playing pranks on our friends present.
Yeah, like
I mean, why are you still a tree now, anyways?
disguising yourself as me. I don't think I didn't see you walking over here.
Oh, by the
To
way,
be,
oh, you go.
to be very fair, I did not know of your plan. Like, insider, so.
Speaking of plans, Alcana, did you see Verona anywhere?
I don't know who that is, so I'm going to say no.
When was the last time that he felt like or noticed her with him?
The last time you saw Verona was her kicking you into the open grate.
Wait, she never came down with me?
You were never conscious of her with you down there.
kind of looks around. Come to think of it, she stabbed me and pushed me down the gate, pretending to kill me, and then she never came down with me.
She really stabbed you? I thought she was gonna, pretend to slit your throat, and maybe you guys would save some ketchup packets from those dinners they gave you, and they'd flick them
No,
around.
we had to be a little more realistic than that, Don. She stabbed me right here, actually, and he just kind of points right towards the wound in towards the side of his chest. But I
And
sneakily-
I'm just gonna pretend that during this whole thing that Alcana's just sort of using like lay on hands and healing spells and whatnot to minister to him.
Yeah. At this point, Alakan has managed to heal it to the point where it's more of a scar than an open wound, but it's still very visible.
along like the other 5-6 dozen scars around his body. Yeah. But
Edgy.
she stabbed me, and, well, I managed to just barely divert it away from my heart just at the last second, but the guards wouldn't have noticed that.
Ugh.
To
Well,
them,
that's
it looked
good.
like you stabbed right through the heart.
Good thing you
And-
dodged.
And they'd be for blame, but good thing you managed to have some great reflexes, Al.
Hmm.
By the way, I imagine that when we all met up, like, when we saw two Alistairs, Don was like, what? What? Spider-Man meme. Like, or there's like two Alistairs in the one area. She's like, what? What?
Except the real Alistair immediately knew who it was.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then Don totally gave person a hug, and Alcana. Just letting you know.
A tiny hug.
Tiny hug.
Hmm.
By the way, where's Peyton?
And
dead.
as Don asked that, you guys actually all remember the last time that you saw Peyton,
In the flag.
which was when you said your goodbye to him
Oh wow.
back at Yangtze Harbor.
Yes, I must return to the tower. I have to process what I've discovered here.
Are you planning to write about it? Or write about all those things we saw?
I'm not entirely sure how much I can write. I suspect if I told the whole truth, the tower wouldn't allow it to be published, but I may be able to insert some hints or two for the eager reader.
Just be careful about it.
Yes, I have had a great deal to think about.
You're telling me.
Yes, and he sort of does this a little bit reluctantly. You can have this, and he gives you the green book, the wonderful world of the Washankos. It's honestly not come in much use, and it's not exactly a scholarly work, but it might be interesting.
Well, your presence on the trip was certainly invaluable, and I wish you the best on your future endeavors.
Thank you, Alcana. Notrix. Worsened?
Yeah.
Who else is here? Notrix is as well. I already said Notrix. Who else?
I don't
Probably
know.
just those three. Maybe Fukuro.
Mm-mm.
No.
And you,
I'm guessing also Narissa would like.
Oh yeah, Marissa.
ah yes, and the intriguing shield sworn.
I do what I am meant to do, and you too must do what you are meant to do. Please do not burden yourself with too much of our memories.
I will interpret that as a compliment. Well, I'll better get going then.
Yeah, Peyton, at this point, you can hear kind of the ship's bell ringing, and you see that the small freighter that is heading for Menephos is getting ready to depart.
Well, it was good to know you, Peyton. I've never seen an old man skydive so well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And goodbye. And he turns to walk away, but he sort of turns around again at the last moment and he says, "And please, call me Jeremy." Then he turns around again and goes towards the boat.
Yes. As we turn back, Alistair and Don, you're actually looking at this book, The Wonderful World of the Wushankos, that Peyton had gifted to your compatriots as you're listening to this story.
Alistair is kind of starts crying a bit, but not like sad. Like he's smiling as he cries. I thought he was dead. That old wily bastard.
No, his trick ended up proving quite invaluable to us.
What was it? How did he catch the boat on fire yet live?
The fire wasn't real, apparently. I don't know all of the details, I just know that it worked.
Must
And
have been an
well,
illusion.
actually, and Alcana gives kind of a slight smirk. Let's just say that since they took our ship, I managed to take theirs.
Oh, you're so brilliant.
It's a funny story, actually. There was actually a ship like that came into the Ashdale port once when I was a child, and I was so curious that I snuck my way inside, and then, well, I got
Kana?
stuck there for several
Kana?
hours.
Dear?
Yeah?
You know, maybe you yourself could learn the tiny hat trick and share more stories later on. Don't you think? This sounds like a long story, Bear.
I was literally just about to wrap it up.
Oh,
And I'm not exactly sure that I can learn that trick, although, really, there's not a lot I'm sure of right now anyway.
well, that's why we're all here together again. Besides, well, you know, the dwarf, Loki.
I never
He
did
seemed
find out where he disappeared to. He went missing in action so long that they gave me custody of his things.
I never saw him in my time in Varrock back. I thought I would, but no, nothing.
Huh.
Orson, how vividly are you thinking about your time in Varrock?
Enough to cause a flashback?
Enough to cause a flashback?
That's what I'm asking you.
You know what? He's thinking about it so hard that you see the other people actually see him like look away for a second, like he's really deep in focus. Like this is the only thing he's currently thinking of. It was mid sentence and suddenly,
Fuck
You
yeah.
start zoning
All
out.
right. Hold on. I've got so many slides. I've
Damn,
made too many
boy.
slides.
That's a new one. I don't even know what that is.
Can't you just select it?
No, you can't.
You
You
can't
have to
just-
drag it.
That's messed
you have
up.
to drag it.
Sucks.
Yeah, you have to drag it if you have too many bloody slides there.
Damn.
All these great flags.
Okay, Rond, how about you archive some pages?
We
Yeah,
see
I.
one where like Jody gets stabbed. Wow, spoilers!
No, you
Oh,
actually
there we are.
see
There
the.
we are. I accidentally went past it.
Hey, I have this picture.
Ooh.
Oh, you do. Well, very nice. Great minds. So, what was Werson's first order of business in Varrock and Mistalin,
Well, his
or in the
first
West in general?
his first order would be to, first of all, get to find out where Sigrun what has has been staying so far, because they did arrange like them meeting back in Varrock, so around this time-ish maybe. Yeah,
Yes, yes. And indeed, you did manage to meet up with Sigrun at the previously agreed upon the time, the place. And where was this? Describe to me where it was that you first met again with Sigrun.
well, a bit north of Varrock, there's a few parts of trees there. It's quite cluttered and a bit of an isolated spot. It's a bit northwest of the Wild Boar Inn, and yeah, just amongst the trees, just over.
All
I'm
right,
thinking there's
amongst the
also like,
trees, sort of like
yes,
in the farmland, in the sort of more agricultural region of Iraq.
pretty much.
All right, let me change the slide again.
Sorry for forcing you to change it.
No, it's my own fault for using so many slides. But this one is easier to find. Farmland.
Yay. But yes, and sorry, I'm kind of imagining it like geography in game. Sorry. But yes,
Yeah, no problem.
he's just waiting for Sigrun there, and yeah, just keeping an eye and hoping that she has indeed will come and find him, I guess.
Let's just say you hear her long before you actually see her. You just hear this like familiar booming voice, seeming she's shouting over the hills as you then hear these very, very hearty footsteps that slowly, that not so slowly head in your general direction.
Of course, recognizing them, he smiles and just slowly heads to them to, greet her.
Well, do my eyes deceive me, or is it the worsened? Is it yeah?
Sigs, you wouldn't believe what I had to to get here. Whew.
Oh, I can't wait to hear all about it.
Well, yes, but I kinda brought you here for something special.
What is it? I'm all ears. And she's basically kind of just sort of like leaning over him.
Well, you see, I've been thinking about several things while out in the seas,
Ah,
and
you seas, you were out on the seas. I see.
yep, the sea, which was quite dear to me, like you, and well, I'm thinking. I thought to myself, to why don't I get you to meet my sister, huh? I met
Oh, I'm sure I'd like that.
yeah, and also would be nice to meet meet father and explain a bit the situation.
Hmm. Well, show me right where they are then.
Right.
So we're since
Oh,
you and
and
oh, go ahead.
oh and before all that though, come here and
Hmm?
and of course he hugs her.
She hugs back. Her hugs are very strong.
He squeaks. He's a squeaky toy. But yes.
So when you talk about visiting Elsa, visiting Kenner, it's a little bit more easily said than done. The last letter that Elsa sent you had come from an address not in Varrock proper, but in Ranth. Uh, and inquiring around there, you quickly find that she's moved to a small, sort of flat in the southeastern part of Iraq. It's not the greatest neighborhood, though. Still, it's a decent enough place. When you and Sigurn finally find this place, you knock on the door. Uh,
He
she,
sighs before knocking, and then slowly just gives one knock, two knocks.
yeah, it takes a
So
minute.
the nerves, it's your sister, ain't it?
Well, it's the last letter I got from her wasn't the nicest, let's say.
Oh, I see. Tied in some bad news, eh?
We'll see
You,
soon enough.
you hear the door unlatching, and she opens it. Familiar figure of your sister, though you can tell immediately when you see her that she's a little bit more broad-shouldered, more a little bit more built than the last time you saw her. Her eyes go wide. She says, "Worsened." And she sort of jumps forward and hugs you for a second before she pushes back and she says, "Worsened. What the hell?"
Elsa, else, else. I know it's been too long. I'm sorry.
It's been
It's
too
been.
long. It's been too long. Now you come and you're sorry. I. Okay. Okay, first of all, come in, come in, come in. I don't want to do this out here where everyone in the street can see.
I wanted to suggest that as well. This is kind of a long story.
She kind of looks up at you, Sigrun. You're a friend of my brother.
Aye, Sigun, daughter Thrum. Nice to meet ya.
Oh, well, nice to
She's
meet you
very nice.
too, Sigrun. Sit you down. I'll get some coffee on. And you move into her apartment. It's very clean, very ordered, but also very small. This flat of hers. It's it seems like it's essentially two rooms, a front room, back room, though that's pretty standard for a city like this. Uh, she takes a minute sort of at the wood burning stove and finally brings you both coffee, though can see her expression is not a warm one. So,
He sighs. As how have you been? I see you got a new place.
Yes.
better than the first home.
Hmm? It's all right. I'm pulling a decent wage from the Ionic Brigade. I'm back with them. What do you have to say for yourself, Worsened? I thought I
Uh,
told you. Did you get my letter?
I did manage to get your letter, yes. It was kind of delayed, however. You see, I only managed to get it when I returned after a bit of a trip to help a friend of mine.
You know, I. This isn't what I want to hear.
And
Worsened.
and I really don't want to tell you this, Elsa, but I can't keep it hidden from you. I can't lie to you about this. If only I could have gotten it sooner, I would have come
Yes,
sooner
if
here.
only you could have. If only you could have. You know what the last thing that father said was? His last words was asking for you. And you see her kind of hold herself and kind of blinking back tears.
He hears her say this and just drops his cup and goes wide eyed and just says, "He he it's that's
Yes, I mean,
it,
even
it's
mother, I hadn't seen her for more than a year, and she appeared out of nowhere, took care of him the last few weeks, and now of
she
course she's just disappeared again.
wait. Father's father's gone and mother's sort of was here back and then she ah
Yes, all
damn.
of us but you were there.
And Sigrun is just quiet and looks extremely awkward, and she's just kind of sipping on the coffee, like, I'm just gonna stay out of this family drama.
I know that she thought it was a big secret, but I suspected it for a long time. I think she's gone back to the Dagon High. After after he passed, I think it was too hard for her to stay there. It was too hard for me.
Elsa, you know about the dag the Dagon High, right? You know what they do to people, right?
I I know what they do. I don't think I do know what they do. What are you saying,
Well,
Worsened?
well, I just this may be an assumption, but I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure Mother is doing best for a lot of us, for everyone. I don't know how to think about it, but then again, you do know about Father also, right? If you know Mother, this issue.
That he was a Kinshra? Yes. I know that they tried to raise us apart from all of that, but I think at the end with the stress of everything, it kind of all came to the surface. Mother actually got mad at me for being part of the Ionic Brigade, but I don't think she really meant it.
I'm
I feel like
sure.
if you had been there, if you had been there supporting it, they both rely on you so much. We all did when we were all together, and without you there, it felt like everything just fell apart.
Yes, I won't lie to you. This trip of mine away from home, it hurt my heart quite a lot. I I thought about things, so many things about back home here. Then Sigs here helped me patch it up a bit. But now these extra news, they don't bode all that well. I'm I'm not sure if anything I can do can ever. I know it won't be able to fix this hole in our hearts, but maybe maybe we can forget about their presence and continue their will of sorts to be away from all this Kintra, from the Dagon High, from their past lives, and live as our own people, ourselves, despite
Wait,
the. Huh?
wait. You know, Worsened, you're my brother. You're always going to be my brother, but you know what I've learned? What I've learned is that, well, we all have to go our own way. And I guess that's just what you've done. Listen, I'm not going to be staying here for very much longer. Margie, she's the head of my troop in the Ionic Brigade. Well, we're heading north into Farinthri. Uh, Grandmaster Vile, he's the senior white knight. He's leading the settlers from Asgarnia, and well, they need all the protection they can get. You know, there are Kinshra up there. And I know, I mean, Father, he turned away from all that. He tried to get away from all that. If anything, I think they're probably even worse now than they were when he was part of it. So I'm going to be heading for the frontier before very long. And while doing good work, doing the best work that I can, and trying to find something I can focus on.
And this might seem like an odd question, but does that make does that make you feel have some pride? Are you happy with this change? Or did you think of something else perhaps you would have wanted to do?
You know, I am happy. I am proud of what I can do. The Ionic Brigade. If I had really just gone through the town guard, stayed with them 5 years or however long before I could even apply to become a dragoon, I'm afraid I might have burned out before I even went.
I can understand that urge. Never settle for simply the boring and the ordinary. You have to seize it. You have to go out there and strike out and do things no one has done before.
Yes, exactly. And I'm doing good work here. And honestly, I feel like I honor Father more doing this than I would anything else.
Aye, that makes two of us. And she sort of like pats the compass that's around her neck. You know, my old man, he had a dream one day that he'd see all the seas of Gielinor. He He passed when I was young, long before he ever had the chance to do that, but now I'm carrying that on, and I've gotten farther than he ever did.
That's very impressive. I hope that one day I can claim the same. And I'm sorry that you had to see all of this, well, see me at my worst, Sigrun.
Ah. Well, warriors can't always be at their best all the time. They've got to roll with all of the raging waves of the sea.
And I did want you to. Well, else there was another reason for bringing Sigrun here. You see, I thought that he kind of scratches his neck behind it, kind of embarrassed to just say it outright. Well, I was thinking that you'd see more of a family of it before you go out there and on this mission of yours. If you and this is kind of awkward.
Oh,
Isn't
come
it?
on, you can say it.
Well, Elsa, I kind of wanted to ask for your blessings, if you can. Spare.
My blessings.
Yes. You see, I was thinking and uh I'm not sure if this will be soon or later, but I'm thinking maybe Sigrun here would make a fine addition to a family. Wouldn't you agree? He kind of smiles.
And she just kind of gives a little bit of a smirk and then just pats Worsend on the shoulders, and well, she definitely towers over.
Oh, well, addition to the family, Oh, this isn't. Oh, my. Do you mean that you two are going to,
Well, not yet, but I've been thinking about it quite a bit. Yeah.
Oh, well, congratulations, or tentative congratulations, or
Hey,
oh,
we'll work it out eventually.
oh, wow. This is, oh, that's this is really something. Oh, oh, Sigurd and I feel like I should, how did you even meet my brother? I mean, no offense, but he's, not the sort of, uh, sure, he's charming and all, but he's, so reedy. I wouldn't think that, with a woman like you, I mean, not that I'm saying,
Oh, Bo,
uh,
do you want to hear the story?
oh, the way
If you,
you said that makes me wonder if I do want to hear it after all.
Well, you see, it was
it's
actually part of my little circumnavigating trip. I may or may not have gotten myself shipwrecked and run aground at one point on the journey. Out far out in the Bashankas, you see. There's a nasty old sea monster called the Argonaut, or well, it was one of their spirits that was getting disturbed by a sea witch, as we would later learn. And I had to spend a while there raking up the coin in order to fix my boat, and that's when ran across Worsend and his crew. They were wanting to go take that sea monster down, and we went we went out and got an expedition and did it.
And as Sigurn kind of continues to relate the full story of how she got shipwrecked on
Horanu and ended up meeting Worsend and eventually traveling with him in the band. You see that Elsa is kind of coming down out of her sort of outrage, disappointment at Worsend, and really hanging on every word of your story, Sigurn, until you come to the end of it.
Yep, and then we toured around the Washunkos in a band singing great songs.
This is incredible. Worsend, is all of this true?
Yeah, and I also met some sirens that helped me get some new interesting tricks to help me with these shows.
Wait. Worsend, is all of this true?
He stares at Sigrun with a smirk, and then back at
Yes,
Elsa.
though I don't think he told me the bits about the sirens, blessing him. You'll have to show me that sometime.
Hey, hey! It wasn't too personal. I swear.
Wait. Worsend, is all of this true?
Yes, every single word of it.
Wait,
I can give you.
is
Can you?
all of this true?
Hmm. Well,
Man, I'm just telling you as I saw it.
And after a second, you see that her face finally breaks into a grin from her nonsense. She says, wow, this is not what I expected. Not the conversation I expected to be having today. But, well, clearly, you've been through a lot together, and, well, I'm still a little unclear on exactly how serious or how imminent this is, but wherever this leads you, you do have my blessing. The worsened. What you did is not okay. Not at all. And you still going to need to work on proving yourself to me. You understand?
he kind of gulps and nods and, and says, "Yeah, I I owe you much more than that. Yeah,
Wow.
uh, I kind of thought to first get this whole story out first, before the rest."
Oh well. Yeah, it's the bitter before the sweet. Listen, I'm going to have to go to work pretty soon, but we need to go out sometime, the three of us, and I need to hear more about this. I need to get to know you, Sigurd. This is,
Hmm.
well, at least before I head out to the frontier.
I'm pretty sure that if you have any decent pubs around here, that'll be the perfect place.
Oh, there
Though
are.
it'll be a little
Say,
bit weaker than what I'm used to up in the province, eh?
is the blue moon is still a thing?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Then maybe a drink there once you can, of course. Ales.
Yeah. And she sort of nods. And as this sort of meeting comes to a close, it seems like she's going to be heading out to the offices or the sort of headquarters of the local chapter of the Ionic Brigade soon. But you do indeed later meet with her for a drink. Sort of, she's still a little bit cold towards you, Werson. That never fully drops, but you do become warmer, and it seems like she gets along very well with Sigrun. If anything, even slightly better than you. She does let it drop during one of these outings that Luther actually is back in town. That he opened a small chapel in a former Zamarakian temple, but that it didn't last very long, though he's still living there, even though he is not conducting services anymore. But it seems also that Elsa herself is going to be somewhere serving in this small community along the sort of northern reaches, not northern reaches, but over the border along the Lum, where there's a small sort of Asgardian community.
Well, obviously, I'm thinking before, after that first meeting was over, he went in for a bit of a tearful hug to her, and then now I guess the would be enough. The last time would be also a tearful hug from Worsen, like you don't know how much I thought about you, how I needed you there. Elsa.
And she just, gives you a little squeeze, but she doesn't really reply back.
And after that whole deal was done, basically the next thing is well, let's see. After finishing up with Elsa and all that, Worsend approaches Sigrun and thanks and tells her, "Well, Six, do you wanna test out the new song we've been writing? We've been composing together, or do you wanna let it for another time?"
Hmm. I think it's best we stew on it a little bit longer. I'm sure that once we get our melodies and our harmonies all together, it'll truly be astounding.
Yeah. Well, it is a good song. Like, I can feel like it's gonna come out any second now. I'm
Hmm.
probably, well, if you think
Maybe
so.
we can indulge a verse or two.
Right now,
Hmm.
I mean, uh, we can have it wait a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel ya. I think we need to.
And I think also one of the verse choruses needs to a bit of changing. So.
Ah, yes, it is kind of an old tune. I mean, passed down for generations, definitely needs a bit of a spit and polish. Not that it ain't bad, all about my old man.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I thought about a little thing. If you'd wanna help me with it, if not, you can return to the Fremeni clans, adventuring or whatever. But I was thinking of a little thing I could do here for everyone here in this town.
Ah, what's that?
Well, I've been thinking of opening up a little bardic college of my own to share the siren song here in the west. I don't think they usually see sirens here or their songs, so could be a good idea.
Hey, I say go for it. What's stopping ya?
He
Raise that
kind of
tray or go at it there.
he kind of looks into his pouch, into his coin purse, and looks how empty it is, and says, "I can think of one reason that might stop me."
Ah, yeah.
But yes,
But hey, sure there are plenty of ways you can get that back. Get that.
right. And of course, you don't have to come with me on these. I'm just asking if you want.
Huh. Yeah, I was thinking of heading out again. This was a nice little break, but I've still got more of the western seas to be sailing soon.
Right. I did kind of want you to meet Father as well, but chances are, yeah, we're not really gonna meet him anytime soon, face to face.
Hmm. I'm sure he was a good man.
He was, yeah. He kind of looks to the side on that.
I mean, it's not like you ever got to meet mine, so I guess we're even.
I guess we are. Well, before we leave, do you? I hope I wasn't too fast on that
Oh
type of
no, no, I've been
talk.
thinking about it myself. I mean, we'd
Right.
already kind of half checked off the requirements anyway with all of those bouts we've been having.
Wait, you have requirements?
Well, informal ones. You mean you you just can't approach somebody and ask for their hand. You've got to do some deeds
Right. Yeah.
well by your side and all of that.
Yeah. I don't have to pass the Phoenix trials, do I?
Uh,
I,
depends on where we'll be living.
I might. Well,
Yeah, I'm sure you can find a way to pass them. And then just give him some firm pats on his shoulder.
I sure hope so.
Well, see be with ya.
Miss he be with you as well. And
So,
you mind?
well, before
You mind? And as a final thing, he just kisses her.
All right. So before the scene is completely done, I want to say, Worsened, you said something a little interesting that you wanted to try to do to me. Is that still definitely part of Worsen's plans?
That is definitely part of Worson's plan, yes.
So, uh, I just want to give you a chance, Sigrun, if you do want to be involved in this or not. Oh, Werson does end up following through on his decision to start a small sort of a center of bardic knowledge. Perhaps not quite a college, but he actually ends up finding an interesting location that he sort of half converts into a place where this new sort of sirenic bardic uh, inspiration can flow freely. And why don't you describe to us a little bit about this place that you find, Worsend?
Let's see. So it is quite to the side of Varrock. While it is still open to the main streets, it's not the main attraction to the other pubs there and all the extra housings. It has a nice little sign in front of it, lab- labeled as the Seas word, and you can see a few waves on this sign and something that looks like a fish, like to some fish decorations on the sign. It's not too glamorous, but it's something. And yes, a low quality fish. Anyways, inside the establishment, you find what looks like mostly a front to any normal inn. You got a few bar stools, you got tables, you got some people wandering about, and a small little stage there, and also a back door there. The back door itself leads to a sort of lecture-like hall, which is kind of small, but it gets the job done. It looks like a small little theater with a stage and like seats for a crowd of maybe, I don't know, 10 to 50 people max could probably sit there, and it's basically like a stage play, but only small. in scale because it's not that big of a place. And what else could I describe about it, really?
Well, I'd say that's enough to describe it, describe the name. So, this place does not come completely cheap. You do end up having to take a loan from a bank in Varrock in order to to purchase it. Though you are able to put down the first down payment, it takes a fairly decent sized staff to run, but you feel confident in your ability to sort of make the main stage a showcase for your new talents and to try to find people whom you can train as your inner circle and get to impart this knowledge to others. Tell me about a couple of the people whom you train in this way and
Oh, can Sigrun chip in some gold to help him with things?
absolutely, Sigrun could even be one of the people he trains if you wish.
Hmm. Hmm. You know what? Frick it. Why not? But yeah, I think that she would. She has 629 gold after I did the chime conversion, so how about she
Phew.
forks over 75 gold to help him out with that?
Oh damn, very nice.
See, I already subtracted like the 100 gold from
Well,
the
here's
10%.
the thing. You when you also roll to see how well the business does in the first month, and in the first month, it doesn't do too great, but
I rolled
fortunately,
a
75
17,
gold.
yes.
Yeah, 17 plus what was it, 14? But yeah,
Yes.
fortunately, 75 gold is exactly the amount of money that this new business loses in the first month.
Whew. Thanks, GF.
Hey,
But businesses always lose a little bit of money when they first start. So,
it's a
Morrison,
dream.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and tell us about the other sort of who else you train besides Sigrun to help watch over this place.
So, how many people do I get? Like,
How
maybe
many
three
employees are
top?
there? There are
Uh,
15 employees in this place.
I have to describe 15 people.
No, just whoever the other person is that you focus on who's also going to kind of be a teacher.
Oh, alright. So, let's see. This person is kind of. Uh, he looks rather clean. He's a fairly built gentleman with like this. Fa- he kind of looks fancy, and he has all these blue and whitish robes to keep up the appearances for classes. While in his current business clothes, he's just, the has this blue like he wears normal clothes, but the extra little thing about them is that he has this blue flower on his chest, just sticking out there, and that's his trademark deal that separates him from the other from most other people here. The flower looks kind of like a cherry blossom, except blue. Anyways, he has uh, orangish hair. He's got a rather straight face, a almost a constant smile on his face. He's got a lute on his back, just like Wurson does, except his is slightly fancier, and it has an insignia of the flower he has on his chest, because why not, right? And you can't tell it at first, but he has an accent. Like, he forces an accent whenever he's talking. Like, His normal accent is like the Ardonian one, but when he talks, he fakes a really good Varokian accent.
Very nice. Does he have a name?
Of course, he has a name. Let me pull out my random name generator.
Honest.
Hey, I didn't come up with this, man. Ah,
I might already have a name generator up.
see,
He's honest.
you might actually take one name from it, but I actually like take the names and just splice them.
All right. So you got a name for me yet?
Can we get back on that?
Sure. Yeah. But at any rate, him and Sigurn, you take under your wing and sort of start to teach them the various tricks you've learned, the ways of music. You focus in on it more as an art. However, the magic can't help but seep into it. And you stay here this first month running this inn and this center of performance. It's slow going. It's hard to attract other noteworthy performers, though you do get sort of a trickle of people. It seems like the regulars here, and you do manage some interest. Perhaps word is starting to spread, though very slowly. Though that is how things go with the. Was it C's word or C's song?
C's song.
Ah, okay. But that is
Alliteration.
your beginning experience with running this inn and sort of Ursat's Bard College before you are called by by being compelled, learning, perhaps overhearing a rumor about people being imprisoned in Kandarin, something that leads you to travel to the east and to look for Alistair. Is there anything else that Werson wishes to detail in his time away?
I got a name. It's Zianvin Borg.
Zianvin Bork. Wonderful.
Orc. He's an orc,
Yes.
is he? Oh shit.
Okay, so
Kill him, we'll drop charms. Notchers can use those.
before everything he has to leave, Worsend has two places he would like to visit.
Ah, all right.
At first, he wants to visit wherever Elsa told him is his father's grave, presumably.
All right. Yeah, he is actually in um, a small churchyard, sort of not actually a Saradominist or a Zamorakian church, kind of an interfaith, non-denominational church that's sort of on the outskirts of Varak is where he's buried. You visit it. It's a very humble plot, very simple gravestone, though it is very clean here, very serene.
So, after kneeling down and reciting something small in Elvish, he lays down a candle, which apparently I still have, and lights it with prestidigitation and leaves to his next destination, which is still fields.
Which is where?
Okay, so after lighting the candle there and whatnot, he then presumably first is gonna ask like Elsa if hers is still alive, if she knows.
And she does know. She tells you that he is still in the same place at the Ranth Sanitarium.
Seeing that he is already here, he may as well give him his final words before this becomes a this might happen again where he might not see the person's last word. So yeah, visit hers at least.
All right, you go to visit Hearse, and the sanitarium itself is a very large, old building. It seems like it's actually one of the it might be built on one of the foundations of the old Ceranthium structures that's been repurposed. Inside, it's kind of large, cavernous, but you see that there are kind of individual rooms that have been put carpet in there and been made a little bit more comfortable, though it's hard to ignore the fact that these rooms do still have bars on them as if they are cells. Um, I don't have a great card for that, but this is probably the closest to the feel of it.
It
But
looks nice.
yeah, but when you go to visit, you're sort of led by one of the sort of healers working there, a sort of matronly older woman, to his cell, which is in it seems like one of the older wings of this place. The stonework looks very aged and weathered. It's very clear the spots where it's been incorporated into newer construction. And you see him in a sort of smallish cell-like room. They've actually put this sort of wing-back armchair in there, and he is just sitting in it, staring ahead blankly. You can see that his hands have been put into these very large, sort of shapeless mittens with heavy uh, straps on the end of them, like little belts that seem to be attached in a way that he can't undo them himself.
Worsened upon seeing this size. Tries to force a smile, but it's very hard. He looks at him and says softly, "Hey, Hers, it's a nice place you got here. How's it going? You mi- you feeling any better?"
It's odd that I hear these voices coming to speak to me.
He's not making eye contact with you at all, just keeps staring into the middle distance.
Voices that I do greatly wish that I were not hearing right now. You know, I feel like I'd be far more content if such voices would leave me alone.
I thought you might say that. Perhaps my voice can distract them enough so that you won't hear them for a while. What do you think?
It's odd that these voices can be so insistent sometimes, when things go far better, when I'm simply left here to my own devices, dealing with the situation that I've built for myself.
He once again sighs and I guess tries to get to his eye level and just and looks concerned at him and says, "Hers, the accident, it wasn't your fault. You know that."
As you kind of lean down into his line of sight, he looks away. He doesn't meet your gaze. But when you say it wasn't his fault, and it does meet your gaze, he says, "Wasn't my fault. wasn't my fault. Of course I know it wasn't my fault. It was your fault. It was your fault. It was your fault. And you see him get up and sort of start banging his hands against the bars and sort of start raking them across his body, though they can't do anything as they're stuck in these mittens. And he's just sort of hitting himself. And the matron sort of comes up and he says, "Oh, dearie, you better leave. You better leave right now." And she sort of calls out for someone down the hall. You hear, footsteps coming. You see a couple people in white sort of coming in, and you see that Hearst is still banging himself against the bars, just shouting out your fault, over and over.
Worsened sighs, and with some changing of his voice, he tries to mimic Sybil's voice and says, "Please,
The matron just
please."
turns to you and says, "Please, I must ask you to leave right now. You are agitating the patient. Please leave."
And he does so, complying, knowing that this is something he can't fix right away.
Yes, you leave, still hearing his voice echoing off of the cavernous stone walls of the Rad Sanitarium.
He Worsen looks at the one of the matrons and asks, "Does this happen often with him?"
Yeah, as you've made a little bit of distance from the cell, she sort of looks to you and says, "Huh, no, he's usually a model patient."
I figured maybe it would do. It was kind of insensitive. Hey, if perhaps can you give him something from not my name? Please do not mention that my name at all in this, but please, would you mind handing him something?
What's that? As
He
long as it's
reaches
nothing that they can use to hurt themselves.
he reaches into his satchel, takes out a one of the jade bracelets he picked up back in Yangshi and hands it over to her. This,
Ah, sure. I'll make sure the patient gets it.
and preferably if he can, to wear it around his neck, but if not possible, that is also fine.
She just kind of raises an eyebrow at you.
I truly care about him a lot, but he seems to. He looks down a bit, disappointed and sighing. He seems to want me dead.
Well, the
I
path to recovery can be very long.
I just hope he'll he'll uh, he'll be able to forgive and see face to face with me again. I truly care about him, you know?
Well, it's always difficult when a loved one ends up here, but well, we're doing all we can for him.
Right. He looks at her eyes and tries a smile, but it's very hard. Thank you very much for keeping him here safe.
She just kind of gives you a nod. At this point, you can hear that the cries down the hall have died down a bit.
And don't mention my name to him, please. I don't think he can handle it. I won't visit him anymore. I'm sorry.
She kind of gives you a nod, assures you that she won't mention you.
And that's basically it for Varrock. Like the other stuff.
Yeah. We cut back to Werson finishing telling you this lengthy story of his adventures with an inn. I'm not sure if he covers the Hearst stuff, but uh, and of just spending a bit of time in Virok before coming out here.
He might just tell him he had a bit of an unpleasant visit with her.
Well, it sounds like you were keeping yourself busy.
Alistair kind of gets up shakily a bit, walks over to Worse and hugs him. I'm sorry
Kind of
that
surprised.
mission drug you away from your family, and I'm especially sorry that you had to come out here to save me to leave them all again.
He gives him a hug, but a bit surprised. I kinda chose to be here to help, after all. Besides, without me, well, we wouldn't be here, would we?
I'm glad you did, but I wish you hadn't.
But I had to. I know what it's like to be a bigger brother, even though technically I'm older than her by a month. And yes, I think this is what it's like to be more mature, like you all tell me.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't think you'll ever be more mature, Wilson.
That's right, talking tree. Now give me a hug.
So, did he mention all that Kintra stuff during all that, or did he skip that out?
Oh, did he?
Uh, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Uh,
Will it help if I told you that story-wise and character-wise it might be better if he did mention it?
sure. Yeah, I think it fits.
Well, I never would have imagined Kintra being brought up in a family discussion like that, but, well,
Hmm.
it's not like the Ceradonist here has any room to judge. No offense.
Hmm. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you see, at this point, Alcana, Don has sort of come up into the back of your cloak since Alistair's is still all cruddy, and seems like exhausted from the day he's had, just kind of curled up and fallen asleep.
Hmm. Sleep tight there, little guy, and she kind of gives him a small pat on the head as he dozes off. Hmm.
Really glad to see all of you. He turns around, looks at Alcana, especially you.
I can say the same.
So, our
So,
doing,
what do you?
guys. What do you think? What do you think we want to do here? If
I think we should just rest for the... What time is it?
It's afternoon right now. You guys have taken like a short rest here, but you also all know that you're probably better off putting a few more miles between yourselves and Fort Alfest before taking a full long rest.
Well, I guess we should do that.
Mm-hmm.
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 So you guys start heading out. Let me go ahead and put it back on the map. So
Sorry about that.
right about
Hmm.
there. So what direction are you guys headed?
Hmm. Good question.
Do we want to head south towards Gnomes or east towards more of Kandarin, which is also where your boat probably is?
Or north
That is
towards
where the boat
Mourners.
probably is, yeah.
What'd you say, Layton?
Or north towards Mourners.
I think north is a bad idea.
So it sounds like you guys are heading east.
East? I thought you said west.
Goddamn.
Well, how difficult would it be to go south first?
You would know that if you head south, eventually you would hit sort of the foothills, probably in another 10 miles, that might be a little bit harder to traverse. But still, that's a whole 10 miles away. You could head south, if you wanted to.
Hmm.
How about we split the difference and go southeast?
Yeah, sure.
All
Sure.
right. So you guys are marching southeast. I want to know who is leading this party?
Um,
Would Alistair be familiar with the area?
Yes, he is, absolutely. Maybe
Really?
not this particular part of the forest, however, it's he knows enough about Kandarin to be familiar with all the fauna he's likely to come across.
Let's roll that. Were you going to have a
All right.
survival for
Roll
that?
survival with advantage, Alistair.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
I mean, there's a chance it won't be great. So here, so I have some inspiration on the way.
All right, 21. Yeah. You guys start sort of marching deeper into this, and with Alistair's skills as both a ranger and as a native of Kandarin, you're able to make very good time through through this forest to know how to circumnavigate it, to avoid being caught up by the difficulty of the terrain. And as you do, as the afternoon shifts into early evening, there's an odd beauty to this, Alistair, especially after all those months you spent in a dark cell, never seeing the sunlight. You're struck by the sound of birds in the trees, by the color of the leaves as they slowly drift off, turning to this autumnal flame and sort of making a thick carpet at your feet. There's that earthy smell of a place that's rich in both life and in rainfall. It's so much different than the blood and the urine and the just ultimate dank mustiness that ruled within the dungeon where you've been. You do spot a few animals along the way, uh, even at one point catch sight of a bear, but at this point, for five adventurers as skilled, as experienced as a lot of you, they present no threat. However, after walking for a few hours, you hear something large. You can almost feel it through your feet, and you hear a tree kind of creaking as if it's being pushed aside. And Alistair, with your insane passive perception, you catch sight of it first through the trees. This large, fleshy lump, sort of humanoid figure. It's got to be maybe 15, 20 feet tall. And it seems to be carrying a couple of large sacks over its shoulder. And all around it are these goblins. Some of them are holding these leather leashes that seem to go to its head as they are just sort of marching alongside this hill giant. And it seems like they're coming sort of in exactly the same direction that you are traveling.
Well, if we okay, so let's just veer off path.
All right, you guys sort of veer off the path, though it seems like the hill giant has some kind of a preternatural sense of this forest, and its head kind of tilts in your direction. I'd like all of you to make stealth checks.
With a +10 because pass without trace,
Yeah,
apparently.
plus
Well,
10, though Alcana does have disadvantage.
Oh, and they can't track us except magically. Go figure.
cast about trace only lasts an hour, though. We've been traveling for hours since I was meant to cast that at the start.
Well,
I'll let it count for here.
Okay.
Would
I
you
can just cast
roll?
it again, I guess.
Ooh, man. Alcana and Worsend did not roll great. So it seems like the party is going to continue moving along. But then you see this creature at the back of the party, a goblin, but different than the other ones. He looks a little bigger, a little beefier. And you see he's sort of in a makeshift robe carrying a staff. He sort of holds up his hand and he calls out to them, which you, Alistair, understand in Goblin, saying, "Hold up, there's someone here." You see him kind of look into the forest towards where you are. He says,
Oi, you! Identify yourself!
Hmm?
Alistair, you know what's it like? You know these parts. What do you think we should say?
Yeah, are there usually goblins around here?
you know that there are goblins in Kandarin. Not too many these days. It seems like a, the biggest sort of incursions of goblinoids were mostly in the south, and that those were a lot of those were dealt with during the ogre struggles. Though there is still a significant goblin population in the region known as Mud Plain, which is just southeast of Lake Lindovin. But in this part of the forest, it's a little odd to see goblins traveling.
Alistair says, rather quietly that he's not used to there being goblins around this part. But they know that you guys are here. They don't know that I'm here. I rolled a 26 on stealth. Good luck with them trying to figure me out. But well, I rolled a 36 actually, so good luck trying to figure me out.
Okay. Sorry, did the goblin ask in common or got goblinese? Or
Yeah,
goblin?
he asked it in common.
Okay.
I'm thinking
This
that the
well, you can tell
Alcana
now he's a hobgoblin.
Yeah, it's such an unexpected
Oi.
situation.
Oi, you! In armor!
Huh?
What are you
What
here
is it?
for?
Uh,
Are you bounty hunter?
no, I'm not.
You get no goblin scalps today. Empty your
Hi.
pack.
And then she kind of quickly shoots telepathically to Alistair. What should I do? This hobgoblin is asking me to empty my pack.
Well, what do you have in there?
Uh,
Empty your pack and we see if you bounty hunter.
Orson messages the Alistair. Yes, the Alistair, the one and only, and asks, "Is it? Do you think maybe we could befriend them? Maybe."
Alistair kind of just replies with, I think for now you should just go with what they want.
so yeah, she would just do that, since
So
she knows she's not a bounty hunter.
she approaches him and kind of just empties out her backpack.
Yeah.
So he kind of stops, looks appraisingly at it, stops, give you just a long, piercing glare with his sort of beady eyes and these green skins, and he says,
Okay, good. You do not see us. We do not see you.
Hmm. Understood, and then she would gather up her things.
He sort of hobbles back to the rest of the goblins, sort of just standing in a ring around this hill giant. He says,
All right, they're not bounty hunters. They look pretty scruffy themselves. Think we can keep going. North now.
and he sort of gets to this place in the group, and you see these goblins starting to turn away. But as they turn their back to you, Alistair, you watch them go. You see that the hill giant, as he turns around, he has a couple of bags. Two of them are just sort of full of big, lumpy shapes. However, one of them is not a bag, it is a tied up figure with a gag in its mouth that you see is a very familiar looking dwarf. And with that, we will end our session.